always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. 2 deaths in Michigan now linked to the outbreak of that parasitic bug that's been traced to lettuce.
Officials say both had significant underlying health conditions that may have been worsened by cyclosporiasis and dehydration. Nationwide, more than 18,000 people have gotten sick in 45 states. The FDA has linked the outbreak in Michigan and 8 other states to iceberg lettuce, sourced by Taylor Farms in central Mexico and served at some Taco Bell restaurants.
ABC's Lana Moise. President Trump says this is the last chance for Iran to reach a peace deal, but Iran still says it has only been talking to Oman, and British officials now say a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz has been hit by an unknown projectile. 1 man is now under arrest in connection with the wildfires that have destroyed hundreds of homes in Washington state. And several states hold primaries today, including in Michigan, where a Democratic race could be key in deciding which party controls the Senate. This is ABC News. The Senate Judiciary Committee is expected to vote today on the confirmation of Todd Blanche as Attorney General. ABC's Ali Pecorin in Washington says Blanche appeased a couple of Republican holdouts by scrapping President Trump's nearly $2 billion anti-weaponization fund.
The president's been pretty clear that he's a big fan of this anti-weaponization fund. He has made a number of public comments in recent days expressing support for the fund, saying that though the fund is dead, he wishes it could go forward, or even going so far as to call on Congress to come up with a way to make the fund into law.
What do performers Ariana Grande and Jelly Roll have in common? You won't be seeing as much of either of them for a while. A day after Grande announced she'd be stepping away from public life after her current tour, Jelly Roll says he will also not be touring for a year or two either. In his words, he says he's fixing to take some time off to heal. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02. We have clear skies in downtown St. Louis at 68 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Missouri voters have until 7 tonight to cast ballots in the primary election. You don't have to pull a partisan ballot to vote on Amendments 4 and 5.
One would change what's required for amendments to pass statewide. The other would gradually get rid of the state's income tax. Here is KMOX's Democratic analyst, Michael Kelly.
I think they both are going to go down in flames likely. And, Governor Kehoe's got a lot riding on this.
And Republican analyst John Hancock.
When the no side spends money, even if it's not as much as the pro side, more often than not, that proposition goes down.
The KMOX newsroom will be collecting results during and after tonight's Cardinals-Yankees game, and we'll have the latest updates for you via social media and on our website.
Figures just released. Barnes Jewish Hospital, Missouri Baptist Medical Center, and Mercy Hospital St. Louis are the top 3 regional hospitals in Missouri based on new rankings by the U.S. News and World Report. Senior health data analyst Chelsea Wen says Missouri Baptist got high marks in 20 of 23 categories.
For example, they're high performing in heart arrhythmia, hip replacement, knee replacement. So that means that they're doing really well on those outcomes.
And Wen notes Barnes Jewish is nationally ranked as 11th in the nation for diabetes and endocrinology.
One person has been turned over to ICE following an incident Sunday morning that started with a pursuit and ended at Sam's Club. St. Charles City Police Lieutenant Daniel Givens tells KMOX's Maria Kina an officer tried to stop a black Kia Optima on the Punman Parkway for a traffic violation.
The driver led police on a pursuit, stopping at Sam's Club, where 2 people ran out of the car and into the store.
One of them was ultimately released to medical personnel for a medical condition not related to the traffic stop. The second person was determined to not have legal status, and they were ultimately released to ICE agents.
Play the scenario out for me. What happens when they determine they're not legal, then they call in ICE, or was ICE already there?
I'm not quite sure about the process of it yesterday, but typically ICE will be called when someone's determined to not be legal. It also kind of depends on what the call's for. Obviously, if we're dealing with somebody that's reporting a crime, that's a little bit different. But if we're dealing with somebody in an investigation and they're determined not to be legal, then we do contact the appropriate federal agencies.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
2 people from Washington State were killed Monday afternoon in in a motorcycle crash on westbound I-70 in Montgomery County. The Missouri Highway Patrol identified the victims as a 36-year-old man and 36-year-old woman.
Troopers say their bike ran into the back of a truck that had stopped because of an earlier fatal crash. The Highway Patrol says a 65-year-old Wellsville, Missouri trucker died in that accident.
A construction worker is recovering after being trapped in waist deep in a collapsed ditch in Creve Coeur yesterday. It happened at a construction site at a home on Country Manor Court. That's near 270. Rescue crews spent over 2 hours carefully building support walls around the 8-foot hole to safely extract the victim.
Creve Coeur Assistant Fire Chief Andy Sear says they had to start from scratch because the site lacked basic structural protections.
There was nothing in there prior to us getting there and shoring the trench.
Sears confirmed the worker remained conscious and communicating with crews throughout the ordeal. Once freed, the man was taken to a local hospital for evaluation.
A Metro East hospital's financial troubles continue to grow.
Gateway Regional Medical Center's board resigned months ago due to a lack of financial transparency, according to Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson, who sat on that board. He tells KMOX the medical center recently lost their level 1 trauma designation not long ago, which has cost the city and taxpayers.
We're already having to divert our ambulance service for most catastrophic events to other regional hospitals in St. Louis and other cities.
Parkinson likens the financial situation to the steel mill, saying they need to fight to keep it open, but they need to ensure it's being run correctly. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Despite the first 2 reported deaths from cyclosporiasis, health officials say they are seeing fewer cases now being reported.
We've seen thousands of cyclosporiasis cases across the country, including hundreds of hospitalizations, and these are the first fatalities to be reported. ABC News correspondent Yuri Benajad says Michigan continues to be the epicenter of the outbreak, which has in some states been linked to iceberg lettuce served at Taco Bell restaurants.
We're starting to see a slowdown in the terms of new cases being reported by Michigan on a daily basis. And I will say with these new numbers here, where we're talking about an increase or a rise in the numbers, we're actually really looking into the past. It can actually take up to 6 weeks between a person getting exposed to this parasite and the CDC actually finding out about it. So there's a bit of a lag here.
Health experts say even though the number of new cases is declining, we still need to be vigilant to make sure any recalled products are no longer in our kitchens and that restaurants are aware of the recalls of suspected iceberg lettuce. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
We have a YouTube viewer who has discovered that we are on the FM band now, saying KMOX is on the FM band now. Yes, indeed, we are. For that matter, that reminds us, we are also on YouTube, on Facebook, on X. You can watch us all morning if you want to see how things work behind the scenes. You can even watch us during commercials.
Sounds really good on FM.
Yeah, it does. We're also on 1120 AM. This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Traffic and weather next.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's 6:10, time for us to check the roadways and the weather. Let's start with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, I'm just watching now as the trucks are moving through the area slowly. So, you know what they've been doing? The standard operating procedure these days is when they're picking up overnight road work, they stop all the traffic so the workers can safely stand out on the highway and pick the barrels up. So that's what they do. They held back the traffic. This is all westbound 70. It's just now coming through the David Hochul Parkway, so they're just opening up the lane. So we have a jam from Wentzville Parkway to David Hochul Parkway right now on westbound 70. But it'll quickly thin out. Again, that overnight road work last night was the first night, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. They're doing a lane shift westbound 70 from the Wayscales just before Forestel out to the Warren County line. And boy, yesterday, we heard in the news, yesterday afternoon, 70 west of there was trouble from Truxton all the way out midway to High Hill from a couple of, I didn't realize at the time, were fatal crashes. It was a mess on 70 out that way yesterday afternoon. But like I said, this morning, just Wentzville to David Hochul Parkway, and it should thin out pretty quickly. And that is the only interstate delay we have out there for you right now on either side of the river. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will top out near 90 degrees. We'll have a sunny sky, then it's clear with a low of 71 tonight. Tomorrow, some clouds back in the area, but we'll continue to have some sun as well. The high will be near 90. A spotty thunderstorm and more humid with clouds, some sun, and a high of 84 on Thursday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we have a clear sky, beautiful morning in St. Louis. It's 66 degrees.
It is now 6:12 in an effort to prepare drivers for a safety improvement project along Route 367. Tomorrow, MoDOT is installing a traffic barrier on 367 between Country and Comet Drives. Tabitha Locke, North County area engineer, says speed data from May shows excessive speeding with vehicles driving 20 miles over the limit.
In order to help address these issues, MoDOT does have a planned permanent safety improvement project that's approximately $10 million, and it will be implemented, like I said, in summer of 2027. And that project stretches from 270 down to Halls Ferry Circle.
The improvements include narrowed lanes, curb extensions, race center median, roadway lighting, speed feedback signs, and a lane reduction from Jennings Station and Halls Ferry Circle. A public meeting at Christian Hospital is set on this August 13th from 4 to 6.
At the August 18th St. Charles City Council meeting, a presentation will be given about drone deliveries by Walmart ahead of the service beginning in the region.
St. Charles City Mayor Dan Borgmeyer says in a Facebook post he got an advanced presentation from Wings and was impressed with what they had to offer. He pushed back against criticism of the business model, saying they have no controlling power.
We have nothing to do with it. If Walmart wants to do it and they have FAA approval, I don't think we can block them from being in the skies.
We'll take a deeper dive on this story coming up at 6:22.
What's the next target for Missouri Senator Josh Hawley? How corporations use artificial intelligence to secretly hike prices on consumers.
He's been on a consumer protection streak lately.
Why do you do that? Can you change that? I mean, can you tell us today that you're going to do what your other peer airlines do, and you're going to quit charging families extra to sit next to their parents?
Now, the Senate Subcommittee on Crime and Counterterrorism, led by Senator Hawley, convenes this afternoon to investigate AI-driven surveillance pricing. They'll look at the practice of companies harvesting consumer data, ranging from web history to precise location tracking, to tailor individual dynamic price tags. Witnesses from the Wharton School, the Groundwork Collaborative, and retail worker unions are expected to testify on how algorithmic pricing strategies circumvent traditional market competition and drive up costs for everyday Americans. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
And finally, food allergies. People with potentially life-threatening food allergies say it's often too much work to figure out if a restaurant is safe. A new study says that's costing restaurants billions of dollars in lost revenue.
The study by Nutritics, a company that helps with menu, recipe, nutrition, allergen, and compliance data, estimates restaurants are leaving $12.6 billion on the table each year. CEO Stephen Nolan says 95% of allergy-affected diners surveyed say they've decided against a restaurant because they couldn't easily find clear allergen information.
And it really percolates beyond just the allergy-affected diner, but also actually to their family and friends as well alongside that.
Roughly 33 million Americans have at least one food allergy. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Now, KMOX Sports from the St. Luke's Hospital Sports Desk. St. Luke's, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
What a day at Yankee Stadium for the St. Louis Cardinals. It started with the news that Dustin May and JoJo Romero had been traded. The Cardinals on the trade deadline were active yesterday, starting with the trade of May and Romero. They go in the division to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cardinals, in return, receive outfielders Alexander Frias and Josiah Ragsdale, both top prospects in the Brewers organization. Frias, number 11, and Ragsdale, number 13. Then they traded Lars Nootbaar to the Arizona Diamondbacks. In return, the Cardinals received 2 pitchers, one of them Daniel Egan, and the other Sandro Santana, who is a lefty. Egan is a righty. The Cardinals also made a deal with the Cincinnati Reds, acquiring a lefty reliever, Caleb Ferguson, for $250,000 in international bonus space. So that meant that those who were in the dugout at the start of the game were not traded, and the Cardinals responded by taking a 6-0 lead on the New York Yankees. Cardinals looked great till they pulled Michael McGreevy. Then things started to go downhill on them. Yes, if you've been following the Cardinals, you know this is par for the course. There is no free ride in any Cardinals game. It is a roller coaster ride always. As McGreevy went 4 1/3, he allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 5. Justin Brule came into the game. He gave up a run, but not a lot of harm done until Ryan Stanek came into the ball game, and things went south in a hurry.
Crowd trying to get back into this one as well. As Stanek comes to the plate, and he turns on the pitch. As Caballero hits one into the seats, and all of a sudden it's 6-5. Just like that, back-to-back home runs.
And Mike Claiborne with the call on KMOX. It got worse.
So here we go again, a 2-2 count. Pitch on the way. There's a line drive into right field. There's Jordan Walker watching that one sail over the wall. Yankees have taken the lead. Luis Garcia Jr. making his presence felt in his first game as a New York Yankee.
He was traded to the Yankees from the Nationals, and it was a 7-6 Yankee lead. They came all the way back. Now, some old Cardinals teams might have folded up like a tent. Not this one. We are in the 8th inning, 2 on Nathan Church.
The pitch for Church. A swing and a long one to right field. Way back. It's a gunner. A 3-run homer for Nathan Church. And the Cardinals take the lead right back. It's 9-7 at Yankee Stadium.
What a huge, huge home run that was. Jose Fermin then with a single right after Church. Here comes Jimmy Crooks.
Here's Jimmy Crooks. Time for him to get in on some fun. He swings and hits it high, deep to right field. It's a gunner, and he's having fun in the Bronx. A 2-run homer, 11-7 Redbirds.
Same inning. Alec Burleson comes up with 1 out. Remember, the Cardinals had 2 home runs in this game already from Burley. He wouldn't hit a third, would he?
He singled on an 0-2 pitch. The pitch to Burleson. A swing! There it goes! There's his 3rd home run tonight! Unbelievable! Oh, baby, what a swing!
John Rooney with the call on KMOX. 3 home runs for Alec Burleson. First Cardinal to do that since Ivan Herrera in early April of last season. Cardinals win it 13-7 over the Yankees, and they will play Game 2 of the series tonight. More reaction on the trade deadline coming in a half hour, and on the Gas House Gang today at noon with Ollie Marmol. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Steve Ellman leads St. Charles County. Ellman has fought for smart growth and moratoriums on apartments and data centers. Ellman doubled our parks, increased our conservation land, and helped create 50,000 new jobs. Ellman has built hundreds of miles of new roads. Ellman prioritized law enforcement and put officers in schools, making our county safest in the region. And Steve Ellman eliminated the county's real and now personal property taxes. While Steve Ellman leads, Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel promised to cut your property taxes for 8 years, but never did. Instead, he didn't pay his own taxes. Eigel was rebuked by President Trump's lawyer for misleading and scamming donors to pay for his campaigns. Eigel said he's against data centers, but he never voted to regulate data center abuses, but did vote to give tax dollars to benefit the company behind the St. Charles data center.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:21 in time for traffic and weather. We bring it to you every 10 minutes here on Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're looking good now on Highway 70 westbound, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The jam we had Wentzville to David Hochul Parkways has thinned out westbound 70. They picked up the overnight road work, and everybody's safely out of there, and traffic is back on the go for you. And that's the only interstate jam we had. Like I said, there's no longer an issue there for you. The only place I'm seeing a little bit of a slowdown, northbound 55 right through McNutt in that construction area in Jefferson County is the only place that looks a little heavy north of there. It's a great run up past 270. 270 is great from 55 up to Gravois, 44 Manchester. And on the Illinois side, 5570 is usually the one place we see earlier delays, and right now it looks great between 203 and 255. Overhead Door Home Fresh Rebate. Call now and get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the qualifying purchase. Must be made by September 30th. Visit overheaddoor.com to learn more and schedule a free estimate. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Nice, cool morning here in St. Louis. We're looking at a high near 90 today, but with that lower humidity, it's going to be a nice day. Sunny. Clear, low 71 tonight, and tomorrow intervals of clouds and sun, a high near 90 again. Currently, it's clear and 66 downtown at the Arch.
The Wing Company wants to bring drone delivery of Walmart goods to St. Charles. KMOX's Sean Malone spoke with St. Charles Mayor Dan Borgmeyer, who got an advance viewing of the company's upcoming presentation to aldermen.
Wings comes in. They're going to make a presentation on the 18th to my city council. I wanted them to be fully informed about what it was all about. And it's very interesting. They have airspace at 126 feet. That's where they fly all the drones. And on the parking lot at the stores, there's like a chain link corral that they keep them in. I think the one that they showed me had about somewhere between 15 and 20 drones. And they launch vertically out of there at 126 feet. They traverse wherever they have to go. And then when they get to the destination, they drop down to 25 feet. And then below that, a cable goes down with a package connected to it and drops it off there. There's supposed to be somebody available when the drone gets there to accept the package. And you can't have dogs and all that kind of stuff around it, but it's quite cutting edge. And the delivery time is I don't want to be quoted, but I think the delivery time is like 45 minutes to an hour on orders that go to the store. So It's the wave of the future.
What's kind of the use case examples that this company gave you? I imagine when pitching this idea, they said, here's how it could be used by someone.
Basically, they're in control of the whole thing. They're in, I want to say, Sean, I think they're in 6 states already. And Catherine has launched it in each state. I think most recently in Atlanta and in Georgia. But they're not selling it. It has nothing to do with me. This is a private enterprise thing. So it's not like the city of St. Charles is going to embrace this and make it happen. Walmart is going to decide what markets they bring it into. And I'm not sure. I mean, I assume they have the opportunity to do that by right because it's airspace. And they have actual pilots that work in the distribution centers that oversee the drones and guide them and land them just like an airplane, anything else.
So there's someone that's actually flying these drones. This isn't just AI flying the drones all around.
No. They actually have pilots in a console, and they direct the flights and manage the routes and all that kind of stuff. So,
how quickly could we see drones making deliveries?
I think that's something we'd have to ask Catherine on the 18th. I would say it's imminent, but not next week. I think probably yet this year, hopefully, if they can do it. There's a national effort to do this, and I said in my Facebook post, you know, not only Walmart, but there's hundreds of applications. I jokingly said to her, well, you know, when you can pick up my grandkids from daycare and save me that trip, I'll really be excited about it. And she said, well, I believe Uber already has approval for that coming maybe in late 28 or 29. So, I mean, that's the way the world's going. And again, it's not St. Charles doing this. This is Walmart and Wings. But I had some friends in from Florida the other day, and they have a Tesla. And I said, how do you like your Tesla? How do you like driving it? And they go, well, we don't drive it. We just get in the back seat, and it takes us to the restaurant or the country club, and it takes us back home. So it's pretty hard for everybody to get their heads wrapped around. And everybody's saying it'll kill all these jobs and things like that. I really don't know. All I know is that we're all experiencing AI, and we're all experiencing a pathway in the future. And this seems to be a part of it. I don't doubt that it'll be adopted by many other people if it's successful.
What kind of packages will they be delivering from Walmart? I mean, is there a limit on no to prescription drugs or the size of the item?
I'm thinking back through notes that I've read, and I think there's a 20-pound limitation. But from what I understood, it can be phone, it can be product, it can be prescriptions, it can be just about anything.
What was probably the most interesting thing that you saw in this presentation?
Well, first of all, the fact that there's airspace at 126 feet that they can all fly in. So I don't know how the FAA regulates that, but I'm sure there's not helicopters flying that low. So the pathway was the first important thing, I believe, for them. And then the delivery process with the drones. I mean, you know, we're all seeing overseas what's happening with drone warfare now. It's not soldiers, it's all machines, almost Star Wars-ish. The funny thing to me, Sean, that I was surprised by is I looked at the responses that came after the Facebook post, and a great percentage of them were, you're taking jobs away, this is dangerous, what if they crash into my roof? I mean, the social media frequent flyers were just all over it with negative comments, but I think this is coming in the future in more ways than one.
This meeting isn't necessarily about getting any kind of approval from St. Charles City or the public. It's just kind of promoting this new piece of technology they have?
Sure. As far as I know, that's what it's all about. We have nothing to do with it. If Walmart wants to do it and they have FAA approval, I don't think we can block them from being in the skies. So, yeah. And I think, you know, St. Charles, they may not come to St. Charles. They may go to Chesterfield or Baldwin or Ladue or wherever. I don't know where they're going to wind up. But it was something that I wanted to look at because it is new technology and it is coming and it is private sector. So I was interested in it, and that's why I brought it up.
It's 6:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, compelling politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside 4 and 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom, 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Government.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
It is 6:30, and right now we've got sunshine, 67 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things continue to roll out west where we had delays from overnight work. Everything's picked up and looks good on 70, really both directions. It was westbound, but both directions between Warrenton and Wentzville are good to go. Southbound 61 coming down to 64 or 70. Looked great at the split there. Eastbound headed in across the Missouri River bridges. I do see a little slow traffic, though, on eastbound 70 from 270 into the Rock Road. Speaking of 270, North 270 grade, just ramp on from 55 up through Gravois past 44 Manchester. Eastbound Highway 30, kind of slow up the hill, Mauer to 270, but it's just a slowdown, not a jam. And the slowdown we did have, northbound 55 through McNutt, that's thinned out. So from Festus all the way into downtown, you look good. And on the Illinois side, things continue to cruise along. Just a little slow traffic right now, westbound 64 from the 70 split to about 3rd Street, but otherwise clear sailing across the bridges from that point. Next update at 6:40 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a pretty nice day today, a little warmer than yesterday with a high near 90. Sunshine, though, and then tomorrow, sun and clouds, again, a high near 90. And by Thursday, a high of just 84 degrees with the possibility of a few thunderstorms in spots. Right now, it's 67 in downtown St. Louis.
Today is primary election day in Missouri. Polls will be open until 7 tonight. The Secretary of State's office is predicting a 32% turnout. That would be the highest Missouri primary turnout since 2004.
St. Charles City Police tell KMOX they're still looking for a black Kia Optima that evaded officers who tried to make a traffic stop on Sunday. Here's Lieutenant Daniel Givens.
That was on the Pudman Parkway. An overpass over I-70. The Kia did not stop. It continued driving. The officer pursued. The Kia continued all the way to the Sam's Club parking lot. Once it got to the parking lot, 2 passengers from inside the Kia ran into the store.
The 2 who ran from the vehicle, one person was released to EMS for an unrelated medical condition. The second was determined to not have legal status and was turned over to ICE. The Kia Optima was last seen driving east over the Blanchette Bridge.
The Missouri Highway Patrol says the person who drowned Sunday afternoon in the Merrimack River was a 41-year-old man from Wright City. His name hasn't been publicly released. Troopers say he went underwater near a boat ramp at Merrimack State Park and did not resurface. Searchers found his body about 200 feet downstream.
Buying a car should get a bit easier soon. Trish Vincent with the Missouri Department of Revenue says by February, Fusion should be online. That will allow you to pay relevant taxes at the dealership to get your plates, avoiding that extra trip. Plus,
temporary tags go away. I'm sure you see a lot of those in St. Louis. So instead of a temporary tag, you're going to get, it's still going to be a paper plate at first, but it's going to be, we're going to 7 digits, and it will have the actual plate number that we're going to make that plate and then mail it to you in the mail.
For people who drove around for years with expired temp tags, they will get a temporary 15-day tag that's trackable, and they'll have to go to a DMV to settle their bill. Vincent was a guest on the Chris and Amy show.
My plates expire in January, so I guess I have to make one more trip. We'll see. It's 6:34, and the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
You don't need a lab coat to change the future of cancer. You just need to show up. From first-time riders to lifelong champions, from corporate teams to kids, Pedal the Cause brings together thousands who put their hope into action. Ride, volunteer, lead a team, support a rider, because cures don't happen by chance. They happen when a community takes action. We are the answer to cancer. Join us at pedalthecause.org.
There's a saying, it takes a group of good men to build a barn, and only one to tear it down. Well, a few Jeff City politicians are at it again, tearing things down with Amendment 5 and Amendment 4. No on 5 and 4. 5 takes our money with higher sales taxes, higher taxes on gas, guns, and groceries, a sales tax hike on rent and diesel, seed and feed. 4 takes away our constitutional right to vote and go around the establishment politicians and to stop higher taxes. Takes away our safety valve, a vote of the people to stop or reverse a dumb idea like the everything tax. I'm a no. A heck no. No. No on Amendment 5. No on Amendment 4. No on both 4 and 5. Paid for by no on the everything tax.
6:36, 4 minutes away from our next check of traffic and weather. Let's get you updated first on your money report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Amazon has joined an elite group of stocks that have surpassed $3 trillion in market value. The tech giant has become only the 5th company ever to reach that milestone. Amazon helped give a lift to stocks overall yesterday, with the S&P 500 rising 1.5%. Traders are watching SpaceX today with its first earnings report after the closing bell this afternoon. Ahead of that, S&P futures are rising 5 points, NASDAQ futures up 0.5%. Clorox has been working to regain market share as it faces higher material costs and price cuts by competitors. The company reported quarterly earnings that topped Wall Street expectations. And shares in movie theater operators climbed yesterday after Spider-Man: Brand New Day and The Odyssey showed that a strong summer movie slate is driving audiences back to cinemas. AMC Entertainment, IMAX, Cineplex, and Cinemark all saw gains. AMC says it generated the highest weekend revenue in its more than 100-year history. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed Liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down data center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
6:40 and time for traffic and weather. Looks like a nice morning out there weather-wise. We'll take a closer look at that in just a moment. First, your ride in. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a report of an overturned U-Haul truck, I believe it is, on Telegraph just off of Limay Ferry. So just be advised if you're headed that way over in Limay, maybe some minor restrictions there. This traffic report's a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. Other than that, though, the highways themselves have been doing great. We're still on the go northbound 55. The right lanes were a little busy a couple minutes ago at Mattis. It looks better. I do see a little backup northbound Telegraph between Butler Hill and Schuessler, eastbound 30. West Watson up the hill to 270 looks kind of busy. Out west, southbound 61, eastbound 64 and 70 still look good. And downtown, we're still in good shape, just a little busy on the Poplar. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Prices seem to go up every time you leave the house. Groceries, gas, insurance, you name it. The good news, your retirement doesn't have to be just as stressful. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturdays at 7 a.m. Let us help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare, another nice summer day here in St. Louis.
It really will be. I mean, we already had a pretty spectacular day across the area yesterday. The sun was out. We topped out officially at 86 degrees, which is about 4 degrees below average. Today, we're back up to closer to 90, but the humidity still not bad for this time of year, and the sun is going to stay with us as well. Tonight will be clear. We'll drop down to 71. It's not until late tonight that we'll start to see some clouds moving back in, and we'll have clouds and sun then tomorrow with a high near 90. But again, the humidity still not too oppressive. Heading into Thursday, it is more noticeably humid, and it's going to be fairly cloudy. We'll also have a thunderstorm in some places. In fact, a thunderstorm chance starts during the later half of tomorrow night and then continues on through Thursday as we top out at 84. Heading into Friday, clouds break for some sun. It's still humid with a thunderstorm. Highs will be in the mid to upper 80s. By the time we get to Saturday, though, high pressure returning. It'll be warm and humid, but the high again back to 90 with sunshine. 69 in St. Peters right now, 71 in Florissant, 73 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:43. Thank you very much, Heather. You're probably not thinking this morning about snow. However, the state of Missouri is, and they're already out recruiting those who'd like to work the winter weather. MoDOT has hundreds of openings statewide for full-time equipment operators and emergency plow drivers. You do not need a commercial driver's license to apply. MoDOT will provide the CDL training on the job.
Missouri has had plenty of severe weather last month. Will August be stormy as well?
University of Missouri climatologist Zach Lezor says the odds for severe storms start to drop off in August, but says Missouri is
not totally out of the woods, but probably more, again, of those garden variety thunderstorms.
Says average rainfall for the month of August is between 3.5 and 4 inches. He says forecasters are having trouble predicting the weather this month because currently there are no major storm systems on the way. Sue Danielson, Missouri Net.
And speaking of the weather, experts say millions who face the prospect of flooding have declined to buy flood insurance due to a misconception about how FEMA flood maps characterize the risks. FEMA's maps, according to the agency, are not predictions of where it will flood. But if a home does fall within a special flood hazard area, it is required for the homeowner to carry flood insurance on a federally backed mortgage. Here's ABC News Chief Climate Correspondent Ginger Z.
FEMA tells us that they are, quote, maintaining their standard mapping approach and is also modernizing its modeling to provide a more comprehensive view of flood risk that extends beyond the traditional regulatory boundaries. So they are saying that things will change. I don't know when. I'm sure that that's something that we'll have to just keep looking for. But in the meantime, because that could take a long time, I do think that this is just a little wake-up call for all of us.
Now, KMOX Sports from the St. Luke's Hospital Sports Desk. St. Luke's, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
Cardinals were busy on trade deadline day. They sent pitcher Dustin May, reliever Jojo Romero to the Milwaukee Brewers for a pair of outfield prospects from Milwaukee, Alexander Frias and Josiah Ragsdale, both left-handed hitting prospects. As for Lars Nootbaar, he was traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks for pitchers Daniel Egan, he's a righty, and lefty Sandro Santana. And after the trade, Nootbaar addressed Cardinals fans in this emotional moment at Yankee Stadium.
Hey, Cardinal fans, Lars Nootbaar here. It's an emotional time for me. I just want to thank you guys for everything. From being an 8th round draft pick in 2018 to being on the team in 21 on that 17-game win streak, being able to play with legends in the game in 2022, winning the division, all the way to this day forward. You guys have had my back and gave me great support from a kid that wasn't a high prospect at all. You guys embraced me like I was, and St. Louis was a special place. It's the only place I've ever known, and I bought a house there and everything, and this is tough, but I just want to thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done. You guys mean way more to me than I've ever meant to you guys, and thank you.
Lars Nootbaar headed to the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he will reunite with his friend Nolan Arenado. The Cardinals also picked up a lefty reliever, Caleb Ferguson, from the Reds for $250,000 in international bonus space. Ferguson could help this bullpen. They needed some help yesterday taking on the Yankees. This is where we get into Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
So here we go again, a 2-2 count, pitch on the way. There's a line drive into right field. There's Jordan Walker watching that one sail over the wall. Yankees have taken the lead. Luis Garcia Jr. making his presence felt in his first game as a New York Yankee.
Our pal Jimmy O'Brien, you might know him as John Boy, posted this after that home run.
We're all fools. We're garbage. We're dumb. Luis Garcia just homered to give the Yanks the lead. Wells homered. Caballero homered. McMahon homered. It's the exact opposite of last year when they traded for everyone and then all those guys stunk it up against the Marlins.
Well, as the Yankee fans were glowing in the home runs by New York, flipping a 6-0 Cardinals lead to 7-6, perhaps the Yankees could have used some relievers at the deadline, because the Cardinals got after their pen.
The pitch for Church. A swing and a long one to right field. Way back. It's a goner.
3-run shot for Nathan Church, then Jimmy Crooks.
Here's Jimmy Crooks. Time for him to get in on some fun. He swings and hits it high, deep to right field. It's a goner.
And then Alec Burleson joins the party.
Two-run homer. 11-7 Redbirds. He singled on an 0-2 pitch. The pitch to Burleson. A swing! There it goes! There's his third home run tonight! Unbelievable! Oh, baby, what a swing!
Cardinals take a wrecking ball to the Yankees bullpen after blowing a 6-0 lead. They come roaring back. They score 7 in the 8th, and they win it 13-7 in the Bronx. The game tonight's at 6:05 on KMOX. We'll have Holly Marmol, Cardinals manager, on the Gas House Gang today at noon. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. Making memories for your family, making memories for you. St. Louis Composting is a great company. Mulch, soil, and compost delivered to your home or business. Thank you very much. They will be happy to do that anytime. Or they have 9 locations in the St. Louis area if you want to back that truck or trailer up and pick up compost, soil, or mulch. You'll need it for your garden, for your landscaping, for your lawn. Products and services right there on the website, stlcompost.com. Cubic yard calculator. What's that? All you have to do is put in the dimensions of your space, and they'll tell you exactly how much that you need. Buy the bag, soil, mulch, compost in bulk, whatever you need. They have it for you at St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going, a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth. Sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:51, time for traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the traffic isn't bad for most folks, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Scott Credit Union. Do have word of a minor crash southbound 270 past the Rock Road. I think it's in the exit lane. South 270 looks pretty light coming through the area, but the exit lanes do have a bit of a backup back north of the Rock Road, South 270. So I'm looking at it from a distance. I just can't really exactly see it, but the ramp is backed up, so just be careful if you're headed that way. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, that looks great. Eastbound 64 coming out of Wentzville. North 270 still a good run. A little busy as you ramp on from North 55, but otherwise it's clear sailing all the way up through 44 and 64. Eastbound 30, Mauer to 270 looks a little heavy downtown. Still okay for the most part. Westbound just a little busy on the Poplar Street Bridge. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, and military. This one's for you. Scott Credit Union's Community Heroes program offers special financing on homes, autos, and more. It's our way of saying thanks. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
Great day out there. Heather's Air says lower humidity high of 90 with sun, low 71 tonight with a clear sky. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high near 90. It's 67 right now.
Why is a celebration of the Brickline Greenway taking place tomorrow night at the Contemporary Art Museum? Because of all the art.
We've got over 20 St. Louis-based artists creating artwork for this greenway, as well as some international artists who are creating pieces that are being donated to the graves. Rivers Greenway segment of the Brickline Greenway.
Elizabeth Simmons with Great Rivers Greenway says the party runs tomorrow night from 5 to 7 and includes music, food, and information about all the artwork. We have more coming up on this at 7:22 this morning.
For years, it was mocked. It was even nicknamed once the Gateway to Nowhere. Well, now the Mid-America St. Louis Airport in Mascoutah is reaching new highs with a 26% jump in boardings last year compared to the year before.
St. Clair County once estimated the terminal could serve more than 1 million passengers a year. That hasn't happened, but by 2019, boardings hit almost 153,000. Last year, it was 192,000, and 2026 numbers are already higher than this time last year, according to the Post-Dispatch. In 2023, Mid-America doubled the size of its terminal with a $34 million expansion, and they're building a customs facility in case they nab international flights.
It's part of the largest class action settlement in U.S. history. Tens of thousands of student borrowers who said their schools misled them are to have their loans forgiven.
I trained in computer-aided drafting at ITT Technical Institute.
For half a century, its commercials filled the late-night airwaves until 2016, when ITT closed its 130 campuses, leaving students like Robert Hall wondering,
how do we get the money that we put into the program?
A decade later, he might finally have an answer. A federal appeals court has ordered the U.S. Department of Education to forgive the loans of 170,000 students of more than 150 for-profit schools accused of misleading the public about their graduates' job prospects. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
It's 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
In the sports world, Roger Clemens, a great pitcher, 7-time Cy Young Award winner, is 64 today. NASCAR driver Jeff Gordon, he was a good one too, 55 today for Jeff Gordon.
The birthday shout-out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy belated birthday to Ed Wilhelm. Also, happy birthday wishes going out to Soman Chainani, Matt Pauley, Alexis Zotos, Michelle Corey, Jasmine Huda, and Aaron Bodie.
Some other celebrity birthdays. A very famous Cardinals fan, Billy Bob Thornton, is 71 today. And former President Barack Obama is celebrating number 65.
It's the best birthday ever.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, let's just talk for a second about your outdoor space, because as we are heading through the summer here, well, you know, summer is going to be over pretty soon. And have you used your outdoor space as much as you thought you would? Just be honest and assess what you would like to see out there, and then call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Because if you're looking for just a fence, there's a lot more that goes into it than just a fence, as you probably know if you walk around your neighborhood and you see other people's new fences falling down already. Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around for 58 years, a local family-owned, third-generation family operation with a great reputation. And they build quality products that will last for years to come. And that is a true value. So if you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll take 20% off your next outdoor project. They'll come to you, or you can stop by their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. You can find them online right now at chesterfieldfence.com.
In a county full of slick politicians, one man never got the memo. Jake Zimmerman. He may not be cool, but as county assessor, Zimmerman delivered. Here's Jake.
I stopped casinos taking money from our schools and cracked down on wealthy developers dodging taxes.
The St. Louis American called his office a model of respectful competence, and the Post-Dispatch just endorsed Zimmerman in his campaign for county executive for his pledge to take the drama out of county government. As county executive, he'll make life more affordable and stand up to MAGA's attacks on our rights.
I'm not flashy, but I get results, and I've got your back.
Then there's Brian Williams. Williams voted with MAGA Republicans to open the door to extreme abortion bans, and now MAGA is bankrolling Williams with $150,000 in donations. Brian Williams and MAGA can't be trusted. Jake Zimmerman is on our side. Paid for by Citizens for Jake Zimmerman. Jeannie Kirkton, Treasurer.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, that ramp's still backed up, Tom. Southbound 270 getting onto Highway 70. We have a minor crash on the ramp, so it's backed up past the Rock Road. The through lanes of South 270 are fine. North 270 is fine coming the other way from 55 all the way up through 44 and 40 out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 64 and 70 look great. Downtown seeing a little volume westbound 64 at Paul Avenue. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Tuesday, August the 4th. I'm Debbie Monterey, and don't forget polls open across Missouri for primary election day. We'll hear more from Hancock and Kelly about 2 statewide ballot questions after ABC News.
St. Charles City Police make an arrest leading to a person being turned over to ICE. I'm Maria Aquina with details.
I'm Sean Malone. Drones could be delivering goods from Walmart near you soon. I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayers. Sunny and nice today with a high near 90.
The pitch to Burleson. A swing! There it goes! There's his 3rd home run tonight! Unbelievable!
Alec Burleson was not traded at the deadline. He went wild last night. We'll have it for you in 15 minutes.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. An arrest in Washington State. A man now accused of setting one of 3 wildfires that have burned hundreds of buildings. ABC's Alex Stone is in Spokane.
As multiple wildfires converge around Washington State's second largest city.
We love this house. We raised our kids here, and everything is gone.
John and Kathy Sherrick were out of town when the fires destroyed their house.
Every memory of my children are down there. Every memory of my grandchildren are down there. It's just, right now I just feel empty.
More than 700 homes and businesses confirmed destroyed, but authorities fear the number could be far higher.
The outbreak of cyclosporiasis now turning deadly. The deaths of 2 people in Michigan have been linked to the outbreak that experts say was spread at least in part by tainted lettuce from Mexico. Several states are holding primaries today, and a key one is the Democratic Senate race in Michigan. That race crucial to deciding control of the Senate. This is ABC News. Week 2 of testimony is underway in the Massachusetts trial of Lindsay Clancy. She says she was suffering from severe postpartum depression when she strangled her 3 young children to death. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Prosecutors argue Clancy planned and carried out the murders. They say she then tried to take her own life by jumping from the 2nd-story window of the family's home, leaving her paralyzed. Clancy admitted to the killings, but pleaded not guilty. Her lawyers argue she was suffering from postpartum psychosis, a severe mental health condition they say left her legally insane.
In court on Monday, lawyers read entries from her diaries in which she described feeling overwhelmed. It was an unusual night in the New York City subway system. A vacuum train, which sucks up garbage and debris from the tracks, caught fire at a station in the city's East Village. Heavy smoke spewed from the station as commuters who were waiting on the platform fled to the street. So far, there have only been minor injuries reported. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02. We've got sunshine, 68 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Missouri voters have until 7 tonight to cast ballots in the primary election. You don't have to pull a partisan ballot to vote on Amendments 4 and 5. One would change what's required for amendments to pass statewide. The other would gradually get rid of the state's income tax. Democratic analyst Michael Kelly.
I think they both are going to go down in flames likely. And, Governor Kehoe's got a lot riding on this.
Republican analyst John Hancock.
When the no side spends money, even if it's not as much as the pro side, more often than not, that proposition goes down.
The KMOX newsroom will be collecting results during and after tonight's Cardinals game, and we'll have the latest updates via social media and on our website.
New this morning, hospitals in the St. Louis region getting props in the latest national ranking.
So St. Louis has a really impressive stack of 8 best regional hospitals this year.
Chelsea Wen is Senior Health Data Analyst with U.S. News and World Report.
So some notable examples, we have Barnes Jewish Hospital, which is nationally ranked in diabetes and endocrinology as number 11 in the nation. They're also number 16 in the nation for rheumatology.
Other standouts include Missouri Baptist Medical Center, which has high scores in 20 of the 23 categories the publication evaluates.
A St. Charles City police officer attempted to stop a black Kia Optima for a traffic offense.
St. Charles City Police Lieutenant Daniel Givens telling KMOX it happened on the Punman Parkway Sunday morning before 11:30.
The officer pursued the black Kia to the Sam's Club where two people exited the vehicle and ran into the store.
The Kia then continued driving and was ultimately last seen driving on eastbound 70 at the Blanchette Bridge. That driver has not yet been identified. The two people that ran from the vehicle, they were located. They were both detained.
Gibbons says one of the people, though, was released to EMS for an unrelated medical condition. The second person was determined not to have legal status and was turned over to ICE. The driver of the Kia that got away is believed to be a man, but there is no physical description. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
University City Police are investigating a Monday evening domestic dispute that injured two people, one by gunfire. Happened in the 900 block of Gay Avenue. Police say both people were taken to hospitals for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries, and investigators say there was no threat to the public.
More than a month ago, after a Ferguson mother was killed while getting drinks for her 5 children, 3 men are in custody. 21-year-old Marcus Evans, 19-year-old Jontez Young, and 21-year-old Kyle Farmer all face second-degree murder and other charges in the death of Shaquilla Martin. Ferguson Chief of Police Troy Doyle.
These 3 individuals that we have in custody has something to do, was part of Mrs. Martin's death. Again, there's other people that we need to interview.
Evans is held on a $2 million cash-only bond, while Young and Farmer's bonds are $2.5 million cash only.
It took emergency crews in Creve Coeur more than 2 hours after a construction worker became trapped at a residential site near 270.
Rescuers were called yesterday to Country Manor Court around 3 p.m. after an 8 to 10-foot trench collapsed right alongside a home's front porch. Creve Coeur Assistant Fire Chief Andy Sears says the precarious positioning made their rescue very tricky.
He was covered up to about his waist, and the way that the trench had collapsed, it was very difficult to get shoring in there and get the trench secured. So he was safe, and then our rescuers to start getting down into the hole to be able to start uncovering and effect the rescue.
Once freed from the dirt, the worker was taken to the hospital to be checked out. Sears notes no protective trench box or temporary support walls were installed in the excavation pit before the cave-in occurred.
There's a company potentially bringing drone deliveries of Walmart goods to our region.
I think this is coming in the future in more ways than one.
Wing is the company, and later this month they'll be presenting at St. Charles City Hall about their plan for drones to deliver items from Walmart. Mayor of St. Charles City, Dan Borgmeyer, tells KMOX he's already been given their presentation and is impressed with how this can be used to deliver most anything under 20 pounds.
It can be phone, it can be product, it can be prescriptions, it can be just about anything.
Mayor Borgmeyer says the presentation is merely informational and they have no authority over whether Wing and Walmart brings this service to the region. The presentation is scheduled for the August 18th St. Charles City Council meeting. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Here's MoDOT North County Area Engineer Tabitha Locke on the safety demonstration that goes up on 367 between Country and Comet Drives this Wednesday.
Speed data actually collected in May showed that there is excessive speeding all times of the day, with many vehicles going 20 miles per hour or more over the posted speed limit.
So MoDOT says this safety demonstration will remain on 367 until safety improvement construction begins in the summer of 2027. A public meeting at Christian Hospital is on August 13th from 4 to 6.
It is 7:08. We'll check traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes here on Total Information AM.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Steve Ellman leads St. Charles County. Ellman has fought for smart growth and moratoriums on apartments and data centers. Ellman doubled our parks, increased our conservation land, and helped create 50,000 new jobs. Ellman has built hundreds of miles of new roads. Ellman prioritized law enforcement and put officers in schools, making our county safest in the region. And Steve Ellman eliminated the county's real and now personal property taxes. While Steve Ellman leads, Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel promised to cut your property taxes for 8 years, but never did. Instead, he didn't pay his own taxes. Eigel was rebuked by President Trump's lawyer for misleading and scamming donors to pay for his campaigns. Eigel said he's against data centers, but he never voted to regulate data center abuses, but did vote to give tax dollars to benefit the company behind the St. Charles Data Center.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get back to Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways are looking great out there right now, Tom. We're into our sort of a lull before we start getting into the peak of the rush hour, but we have backed up traffic on the ramp from South 270 leading onto Highway 70. We had a minor crash there. Those ramp lanes are jammed back through the Rock Road, but otherwise 270 itself, the through lanes are fine. In fact, 270 looks great onto 255, really from the JB Bridge all the way around the Horn to the Cheney Rocks up north. I'm not seeing any delays right now. Telegraph northbound a little slow, Butler Hill up to Schuessler, eastbound 30. Mauer up the hill to 270, a little bit busy. Northbound Telegraph, seeing a little bit of a backup from north of Christopher, headed up through Herb. And Telegraph, we still have restrictions. It looks like it's shut down right there at Allegheny. Telegraph just off Lemay Ferry over in the Lemay area. That was an overturned U-Haul box truck. That is the reason for that closure. I think it took down either a power pole or power lines in the area. Eastbound 70, eastbound 64 look good coming out west for you. And downtown, just starting to see a little bit of a slowdown in a couple of spots. Eastbound 5570 past 111 and northbound 255 just past 5570 in construction areas. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather will have a nice day today. Plenty of sunshine with a high right around 90 degrees. Clear with a low of 71 tonight. And then we'll have clouds and sunshine tomorrow. The highs will be right around 90 once again. It'll be more humid with more clouds than sun on Thursday. There'll be a spotty thunderstorm, high 84. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sunshine now, 68 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12, sports in 3 minutes. Gateway Regional Medical Center in Granite City is facing financial trouble months after the hospital's board resigned due to lack of transparency from their parent company. Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson sat on that board and says they had a hard time getting answers about bills not being paid. He says he equates their financial troubles to the local steel mill.
We need to fight to keep it open, but we also have to ensure that they're running it correctly and that the finances are going to the right things.
Parkinson says the board is still interested in helping the medical center if they are willing to be more transparent about their finances.
2 deaths have been reported in Michigan due to the cyclosporiasis outbreak. Linked to iceberg lettuce, KMOX's health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
For grocery shoppers and restaurant goers who are concerned,
ABC's Yuri Benajad explains what can be done to reduce the risk of exposure.
Make sure you're checking your fridge. You want to make sure that any recalled products are not in your kitchen. And then there are two other places you want to be a little bit more cautious, right? When you're out dining at restaurants and then in grocery stores. So when you're out dining, you might want to ask your server, hey, are you aware of this recall? Are you aware that this is going on? And making sure that they're not serving any recalled food. It's also a good idea before you walk into a restaurant to just look on the outside. Most local health departments require restaurants to put a little placard there that gives them a food safety grade.
We are, however, starting to see a slowdown in terms of new cases being reported on a daily basis, as many of these suspected products have already been pulled from the shelves. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is now zeroing in on a new tech practice that could mean you pay more for everyday items based on your personal data.
I'm hoping maybe you'll tell me this is wrong. Is this accurate?
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is now chairing a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee hearing today, investigating what's known as surveillance pricing. Federal regulators and consumer advocates warn that major companies are increasingly using artificial intelligence and personal browsing or location data to calculate an individual shopper's maximum pain point, charging customized higher prices for everyday goods. The hearing is scheduled testimony from economic experts, labor representatives, and data specialists, taking a look at how corporate data harvesting directly impacts family budgets. We'll let you know later today what the senator has to say. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Senate Judiciary Committee is expected to vote this morning on Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche's nomination for the full-time role. We get more from ABC's Allie Peckerin.
The Senate Judiciary Committee has 2 more Republicans than it does Democrats. That means that likely Blanche is going to need every Republican on that panel to advance. Because Cornyn and Tillis have now dropped their objections, we expect Blanche to be confirmed by the committee this morning and then sent to the whole of the Senate floor for further consideration. That could set Blanche up for a vote for final confirmation later this week or potentially over the weekend.
Now, KMOX Sports from the St. Luke's Hospital Sports Desk. St. Luke's, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
I'm John Rooney, and last night at Yankee Stadium in New York, the Cardinals had a 6-0 lead, only to lose that lead as the Yankees got 3 in the 5th and 4 in the 7th inning. The newest Yankee, Luis Garcia Jr., over from the Nationals, hit a 2-run homer off George Soriano to put New York up 7-6. But the Cardinals batted around +1 and scored 7 in the 8th inning to beat the Yankees 13-7. What a night for Alec Burleson. 6 runs batted in with 3 2-run homers. A 3-run homer for Nathan Church in a 3-hit ball game. Jimmy Crooks hit his 4th home run of the year as the Cardinals put 13 hits up and beat the Yankees 13-7. In Game 2 of the series, the Cardinals will face Ryan Weathers. He's 4-7. We'll be on the air at 5:10 Central Time today. 5:55, Mike Claiborne will go over the lineups, and I'll bring you the first pitch at 6:05 after a Redbird winner 13-7.
I'd like to hear the cut of the game, sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net.
He singled on an 0-2 pitch. The pitch to Burleson. A swing! There it goes! There's his 3rd home run tonight! Unbelievable! Oh, baby, what a swing! A 2-run homer for Burleson. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Yes, he got his 18th home run in this series. He got it in this game.
On an emotional day, the Cardinals show major character in their 13-7 win against the Yankees. The club scores the first 6 runs of the game against AL Cy Young Award candidate Cam Schlittler. After the Yankees come all the way back to take the lead, the team hits 3 home runs and scores 7 runs in the 8th inning. Manager Oliver Marmol says this game says a lot about his team.
Couldn't have asked those guys for a better response to a day like today. There's a lot going on. For them to lock in and do what they did tonight against that starter is pretty impressive. You make them throw 61 pitches through the first 2 innings. You battle every single pitch and get them out of the game. But just the response was incredible, and it just shows you the mentality of this group. Obviously, we lost a couple guys today at the trade deadline, and they're not going to give in or concede, which is awesome.
The Cardinals hit 5 home runs in the game. Alec Burleson hits 3, while Nathan Church and Jimmy Crooks also go deep. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, let's break down this trade deadline and the transactions the Cardinals made yesterday. Dustin May and JoJo Romero both mentioned for weeks as trade candidates, so no surprise there. Maybe a bit of a surprise that they were traded within the division. They go to the Milwaukee Brewers, so the division leaders take those 2 pitchers, but the Cardinals also take 2 prospects from the best farm system in baseball, according to many experts. Alexander Frias, an 18-year-old left-handed hitting outfielder, and Josiah Ragsdale, another left-handed hitting outfielder. He's in Double-A. They are ranked 11th and 13th in the Brewers system, respectively. That's the return for May and Romero. Then the Cardinals traded Lars Nootbaar to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they received 2 prospects for Nootbaar. Right-handed pitcher Daniel Egan and left-handed pitcher Sandro Santana. And the Cardinals acquired left-handed reliever Caleb Ferguson in a trade with the Reds for $250,000 in international bonus space. So again, they trade May, Romero, and Nootbaar, and in return, total 4 prospects and a ready left-handed reliever to join their major league bullpen. As the Cardinals move forward, we'll have all the coverage here on KMOX with the Gas House Gang today. Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol will join us at noon. Chris Ranji, Bernie Miklasz, and me. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Breaking news. Missouri will vote on Amendment 4 this August. Right now, a ballot measure passes in Missouri if it gets a majority of votes statewide. Amendment 4 would permanently end that. If Amendment 4 passes, it would rewrite the Missouri Constitution. So instead of using the total statewide vote to decide if something is approved, a measure would need to win a majority of votes separately in each of Missouri's 8 congressional districts in order to pass. So one district could veto the will of most Missourians. That means with Amendment 4, just 5% of voters could overrule what the majority of Missouri citizens want. Opponents of Amendment 4 say it undermines the sacred principle of one person, one vote, and takes away the people's power, giving it to politicians and special interests instead. Protect majority rule. Vote no on Amendment 4. Paid for by Protect Majority Rule Missouri. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Tom's Garage Door, Tom's Garage Door. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
I started my first business at 12 years old, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I thought I was crushing it until my buddy down the street undercut me by $2. But he didn't just cut the price, he cut corners too. That's when I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People care more about how you show up and whether you do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we crush it, and we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and the spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. Because when you care about the people you serve, you work harder, and it shows. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
Tom's Garage Doors, Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
See more bees, wasps, or hornets around your home? Carpenter bees can damage wood structures, and wasps and hornets often hide nests inside walls. Don't risk getting stung. Let Rottler Pest Solutions protect your home and family. Call Rottler today or visit Rottler.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:21. We're going to learn more about the Brickline Greenway and an art party coming up. So stick around for that, and we'll see if we have good weather for it tomorrow. Let's first see what the roadways look like with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still have a little bit of a backup on the ramp from South 270 getting onto Highway 70 east and westbound. We had a minor crash on that ramp. The lane's backed up through the Rock Road. Eastbound 70 coming across the Blanchette Bridge looks a little slow right now. Eastbound 30, West Watson up the hill to 270s heavy. Northbound Telegraph from Herb up to Baumgartner looks backed up, and Telegraph's still closed just off Lee May Ferry at Allegheny. We have an overturned U-Haul truck in the roadway, so they have it shut down there. More volume on the Illinois side, westbound 64, 25th Street to about 3rd Street, and then heavy on the Poplar, and eastbound 5570 is bogged down 203 to 111 in the construction area. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire says nice day today to the tune of 90 degrees, but with low humidity. Clear 71 tonight, and tomorrow clouds and sunshine with a high near 90. Currently, we have bright sun and a blue sky in downtown St. Louis. It's 69 degrees.
It is 7:22. It's a party, an art exhibit, and a chance to see the progress of the Brickline Greenway.
So Great Rivers Greenway is hosting the Brickline Greenway Art Party this Wednesday as a way to share an update on the new artwork that will be installed along the Brickline Greenway on North Grand, Cass, and Spring. This event is a way to get people excited for what is coming that include the donated art installations as well as the newly commissioned murals, sculptures, and surface treatments along the Greenway. This event is a way to celebrate all of the local artists. We've got over 20 St. Louis-based artists creating artwork for this Greenway, as well as some international artists who are creating pieces that are being donated to the Great Rivers Greenway segment of the Brickline Greenway.
That is Great Rivers Greenway's Elizabeth Simmons. She says the party's at the Contemporary Art Museum tomorrow, Wednesday, from 5 to 7.
Great Rivers Greenway was created by voters back in 2000. We've built this regional network of greenways with over 140 miles so far. Brickline Greenway is very much a part of this regional system, but just like every other greenway around the region, we build it in pieces. So maybe you saw the segment of the Brickline Greenway that opened earlier this year along Market Street between Harris-Stowe State University and Energizer Park. Maybe you've seen the construction that's currently underway along North Grand between Fairground Park and Cass. This is a way to come learn about everything that's going on the Brickline Greenway, other greenways around the region, all in one place, and that'll be at the Contemporary Art Museum this Wednesday. So the art on the Brickline Greenway is really a way to strengthen the community identity. So on this segment, we're building in the Jeff Vanderloo and Covenant Blue Grand Center neighborhoods. This art can tell the stories about people and events that shape our culture here. It can enhance the public spaces into welcoming and attractive gathering places so people can spend time together outside on the Greenway. And it can also pique people's curiosity about the local culture and history, and art can do all of this in a very free and accessible way.
Simmons says the art party includes music and food. In addition to artists and other partners, you can bring a T-shirt for a free Brickline Greenway theme screen printing.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and other state leaders have announced the back-to-school state tax holiday, which waives the state tax sales tax on back-to-school necessities from this Friday through August 16th.
Working families shouldn't have to deprive their kids of the necessities that they have upon them for a successful new school year for their kids. We listened to parents, and the state is stepping up to lower costs.
Governor Pritzker's office says the 10-day sales tax holiday is expected to provide an estimated $10 million in savings to online and in-store consumers.
Is now the time for a family vacation?
Fall travel is often less expensive than summer vacations. Cindy Richards of SheBuysTravel.com joined the WBBM Noon Business Hour and laid out the perks.
All of the benefits that you get from a family vacation, the family bonding, the time together, the new experiences, coupled with it's probably going to be cheaper, which is a really motivating reason to take your kids out of school to travel. The crowds are going to be less because all those other families are in school. And so the hotel prices are lower. These days, airline prices probably aren't. But once you arrive, chances are you're going to get a better deal on the cruise or the all-inclusive or the hotel room.
If you opt for that fall vacation, families should first check school attendance policies, communicate with teachers in advance, and make sure students stay current with assignments. Judson Richards, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
You know what city has great fall weather, don't you? St. Louis. Just saying. Best time of year to come here is in the fall. 7:27 time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
Closeout season is heating up at Seidenstricker Nobe Partners with sizzling hot summer savings on John Deere compact tractor packages. For a limited time, get $3,500 off the S&P price on a John Deere 2025R with a loader, plus 0% financing with zero down. Find compact tractor package savings at snpartners.com. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 8/31/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, compelling politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Ford 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for Fair Government.
It is 7:30, and we have plenty of sunshine at 68 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are a little bit busier, but it's still not a bad run for you. It's a little heavier, though, on northbound 270. We have slow traffic now up the hill from Big Bend toward Manchester, eastbound 30, West Watson up to 270. That's slow. Northbound Telegraph, Herb up to Baumgartner. You've got a little bit of a backup. Telegraph itself, Tesson Ferry is a little bit slow at Schuessler. Out to the west, southbound 61, just slow as you ramp on to eastbound 70. Looks like they cleared that crash on the ramp from South 270 onto Highway 70. Things are better there. Eastbound 64 slow, 170 to Big Bend. Westbound 64 Hampton through Clayton Skinker, kind of heavy. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 west of 111. Heavy traffic up to about 3rd Street, and then it's slow again on the Poplar. And eastbound 64, a brief backup onto 5570 at Exchange in the work zone, and then 5570 just a little busy again, approaching 111. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to be sunny with a high near 90. Tomorrow, sun and clouds with a high near 90. And by Thursday and Friday, we're looking at the possibility of a couple of thunderstorms. Right now, sunshine and 68 degrees.
It's 7:31 on Total Information AM. It is primary election day. Voters in St. Louis County will decide on county charter changes and a use tax on purchases made through the internet. St. Louis County Democrats will decide between Brian Williams, Angela Mosley, and Jake Zimmerman for their county executive nomination. The polls opened at 6 this morning and will close at 7 tonight. Missourians don't have to pull a partisan ballot to vote on statewide questions.
Drones could soon be delivering goods from a Walmart store near you.
Wing, a drone delivery service, is partnering with Walmart and will be making a presentation at St. Charles City Hall about potentially bringing their business to the region. St. Charles Mayor Dan Borgmeyer received an advanced look at what Wing has to offer and is impressed with what he saw, especially that these drones are not autonomous.
They have actual pilots that work in the distribution centers that oversee the drones and guide them and land them just like an airplane, anything else.
Borgmeyer says they have no regulations over the airspace these drones would occupy or the ability to reject the company if Walmart decides to bring their service here, adding the presentation is purely for public interest. The presentation is set for August 18th during the St. Charles City Council meeting. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A local pool builder is facing a $21,000 lawsuit over delinquent ad bills. The outdoor advertising company is claiming Lux Pool and Spa defaulted on contracts for billboards on 6440 near Lake St. Louis. The Business Journal reports the pool company has not yet responded to the suit.
The end of the temp tag in Missouri is on the horizon. Trish Vincent with the Department of Revenue says their Fusion system should be ready by February to have people pay their taxes at the dealership. But what about people who didn't bother paying personal property taxes on the sales taxes on their last vehicle and just drove around with expired tags?
We'll give you a 15-day interim permit. But we're going to track those. Right now, we can't really track the temporary tags because of our system, but we're going to be tracking those. And those folks that have not paid the personal property will have to go into a license office to complete their transaction.
Otherwise, at the dealership, you'll get a temp permit with plates mailed to your home within a few weeks.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
It is 7:35, and it's time for your Money Report, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Snapchat is getting a boost from stronger advertising sales and betting its future on AI-powered smart glasses. Parent company Snap issued an upbeat forecast. The company calls its $2,000 augmented reality glasses its largest long-term opportunity, and Snap believes it will help tap into a new audience since people won't need a Snapchat account to use them. They're expected to be released in the fall. Checking on your money, S&P futures are edging higher this morning. Tech shares are rebounding following a volatile July. A potential challenge for the markets comes later this afternoon when SpaceX reports its first earnings as a public company. And Toyota's bet on hybrids is continuing to pay off. The world's largest automaker raised its annual profit outlook as strong demand for gas-electric vehicles helped drive sales. Toyota's hybrid-heavy lineup has given it an edge, with many consumers remaining hesitant to switch to fully electric vehicles. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
I'm Bill Eigel.
I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, he spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel from Missouri. Lisa Borchers, treasurer.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, treasurer.
Today, the Cards, the Yankees. Emron Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's get you a check of traffic and weather. Hopefully there's nothing in your way that'll slow you down this morning, but we always check in with Roger Brand every 10 minutes in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got some issues on Telegraph this morning, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Telegraph is still restricted just off of Lee May Ferry at Allegheny. We had an overturned U-Haul truck there that they're still dealing with. Now we have an injury crash northbound Telegraph at Englandtown. That's between and Baumgartner, so there's a backup there, and a merge cruiser headed that way right now. Eastbound Highway 30, West Watson to 270, heavy, North 270, Sappington to Gravois, 44 up to Manchester. That's all kind of slow. Out west, southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway, ramping on to eastbound 70 is busy. Eastbound 70 from the Blanchett into our city, there's some slow stuff. Eastbound 64, east of Lindbergh into Big Bend's off the pace. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. Westbound 64, Hampton through Bellevue, slowing on the Illinois side. 64 is heavy from 111 all the way to the Poplar. Eastbound 5570, 203 to 111. You've got slow traffic running in that direction as well. Overhead Door Home Fresh. Let me start over here. Overhead Door Home Refresh Rebate. Call now and get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the qualifying purchase. Must be made by September 30th. Visit overheaddoor.com to learn more and schedule a free estimate. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare, give us the good news. This lower humidity is just what we need.
It really is, and it looks like we're still going to be able to have it around for another couple of days. Pretty comfortable overall today. We are going to get a little warmer than yesterday. Otherwise, it's a lot like yesterday with sunshine and only moderate humidity. We'll top out near 90. Tonight, down to 71 under a clear sky. Still really not too humid tomorrow, although we are starting to see more clouds back. The high again will be near 90. By the time we get to Thursday, the humidity is building again. Our high will be 84 as we get more clouds. The and sun. We'll also have a thunderstorm returning to some places. In fact, that can begin as early as later tomorrow night. As we head into Friday, still a thunderstorm in the area, highs 84 to 88. It'll be humid with clouds and breaks of sun. And then as we head into Saturday, we're drier again with a good deal of sunshine. Not a whole lot different than today as we top out near 90, but it will be more humid. 70 right now at St. Peter's, 74 in Florissant, and 76 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thank you for that good news with the weather. It's 7:43, and with the nation's student debt load approaching $2 trillion, a federal appeals court is offering relief to at least some borrowers. ABC's Jim Ryan says the Education Department has been ordered to write off $11 billion in student loans.
The ruling is the result of a class action lawsuit filed in 2019 by students or former students who said the for-profit schools they attended had lured them into enrolling by offering unrealistic promises of their earning potential upon graduation. Now the loans the plaintiffs took out to attend might be forgiven.
Also in the news this morning, priced out of home ownership. Don't think Gen Zers are happy as they go to the polls today. Odyssey Detroit's Kyle Kimball.
A new Tufts University study reflects a deep frustration with political parties, but an equally deep commitment to voting as the way to force change. So if you're counting on young people's frustration over the status quo, well, that's one thing. If you're counting on that frustration translating to voter apathy, you might be surprised at some of this year's results. The study asked 5,000 Zoomers about their politics and priorities. Almost 3/4 of those surveyed said they voted in the 2024 election, and most believe their vote mattered. But only 1/3 of Gen Z youth think democracy is working for them. Kyle Kimball, WWJ, News Radio 950.
KMOX Newsroom will be collecting Missouri election returns tonight after the polls close at 7. We'll have updates online and on social media during the Cardinals-Yankees game.
It's one of the hottest races on the national scene today, the Democratic U.S. Senate primary in Michigan, pitting progressive Abdul El-Sayed against moderate Congresswoman Haley Stevens. We get more from ABC's Hannah Battah.
El-Sayed is running on a platform that includes Medicare for all and abolishing ICE. He's been endorsed by Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. El-Sayed has been the target of attacks, not just from Republicans, but from establishment Democrats, too. That establishment, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, is lining up behind Stevens.
Now, KMOX Sports from the St. Luke's Hospital Sports Desk. St. Luke's, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
A night to remember for Alec Burleson, but it didn't start out all that great. There were rumors that teams were looking at Alec Burleson and that left-handed bat at the trade deadline. Now, we told you on KMOX over and over yesterday that doesn't mean the Cardinals are shopping Alec Burleson. It means that teams like him. Who doesn't like him? Guy can play first base, got a great bat, great guy. Teams were interested in Alec Burleson, but the idea of the Cardinals trading him was pretty slim. Well, as it turned out, the Cardinals did make some trades yesterday. They started trading Dustin May and JoJo Romero together to the Milwaukee Brewers. In return, the Cardinals received 2 players many observers around the minors think was a really nice return for St. Louis. Alexander Frias, the number 11 prospect in the Brewers' top-rated farm system, and Josiah Ragsdale, the number 13 prospect. Both of them young, left-handed hitting outfielders. Frias is 18. He has lots of power. Ragsdale is more of a speed player and is 20 years old. Then they traded Lars Nootbaar, who is 28 and 29, actually, just turned 29. He is a player that the Cardinals have always liked, but they did get some return for him as he goes to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Daniel Egan, their right-handed pitching prospect now, comes over from Arizona, as well as a left-handed pitcher in Sandro Santana. And listener Brad wants us to remember that there is a player to be named later in that deal. Thank you, Brad. The Cardinals also acquired left-handed reliever Caleb Ferguson in a trade with the Reds. $250,000 in international bonus space. So the Cardinals made a lot of moves, and as you notice, Alec Burleson was not one of them. Perhaps he took that in stride because he arrived in the first inning at Yankee Stadium and did this.
The pitch,
A swing, and there's a drive to right field. That ball's going to leave the yard. A two-run homer for Alec Burleson. And the Cardinals are on the board with one out in the first inning.
He struck out in his next at-bat, but Burleson arrived in the fourth.
He holds the bat high over his shoulder. Waits on the pitch and turns on the pitch down the right field line. This ball is gone. As Alec Burleson with a 2-home run night tacks on 2 more runs for the Cardinals, and the Redbirds are now leading 6-0.
You want to know the truth? Alec Burleson would have made a great Yankee. I mean, he would have crushed home runs at that stadium. That short porch out and right fits lefty hitters so well, but he's not. He's a Cardinal. You know who's a Yankee, though? Luis Garcia Jr. came over from the Nationals. The Yankees trying to come all the way back from a 6-0 deficit.
So here we go again, a 2-2 count. Pitch on the way. There's a line drive into right field. There's Jordan Walker watching that one sail over the wall. Yankees have taken the lead. Luis Garcia Jr. making his presence felt in his first game as a New York Yankee.
2 home runs given up by Ryan Stanek, one right there from George Soriano. But the Cardinals responded. 3-run homer for Nathan Church. 2-run homer for Jimmy Crooks. It's 11-7, and Burley's up again.
He singled on an 0-2 pitch. The pitch to Burleson. A swing! There it goes! There's his 3rd home run tonight! Unbelievable! Oh, baby, what a swing! A 2-run homer for Burleson. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Yes, he got his 18th home run in this series. He got it in this game.
What an incredible performance by Burleson as the Cardinals win the game 13-7, Danny Wexelman.
What was the focus tonight?
The starter, he's got a really good heater, so you got to time it up. And then Hill's got a really good sinker. You got to get under it. And then the last guy, a lot of the guys before me scared him off his changeup, so I got a slider to hit. But, up and down, I think we did a really good job. We battled the starter. We got him out in 3 innings. So any night you can do that, it's probably going to be a good night for you.
You put up some really great numbers in New York this season and in your career. What is it about this place?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the traffic. Maybe I enjoy the traffic. I don't know. But
yeah, you got doused right there. What a night for Alec Burleson. Back with his teammates as the Cardinals get the win. Really, really great night. So the Cardinals will take on the Yankees again tonight at 6:05, and we'll see if Burley has a little more magic in that bat. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. Such a great place. Love Innsbrook. Always have, always will. Innsbrook, 100 lakes, 7,500 acres, located just an hour from St. Louis, and in some cases, a half hour, like if you live in Chesterfield. They're in Warren County, right off of the I-70 Wright City exit, and you're going to love Innsbrook. Just so many different ways to enjoy the summer and coming up the fall at Innsbrook. Just a beautiful place to vacation, to unwind, and very close to home. Great fishing, too, and golf and hiking and swimming and boating. They have it all at Innsbrook, innsbrook-resort.com. Let's get to our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Let's update those World Series odds after the trade deadline. The Dodgers are plus 160 to win the World Series. I don't like that bet, even though the Dodgers are the overwhelming favorite and everybody thinks they're going to win it again. There's no way I'd go plus 160 there. Yankees plus 625. Now we're talking. I think they've got a shot, although as we saw last night, their bullpen needs work. The Brewers at plus 850, I still think is an excellent play. I think the Brewers could upset the Dodgers, and I don't know if that'd be an upset to win the National League. Beyond that, it's pretty sketchy. Maybe the Phillies at plus 1,800, they bettered themselves yesterday without a doubt. Parlay of the day sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth. Sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
7:52. Here's Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're working a couple of crashes on Telegraph, Deputy. We have one Telegraph at England Town. Northbound Telegraph is jammed back near Christopher, and then we still have restrictions, I believe, on Telegraph just off of Lee May Ferry, and that's where we had an overturned box truck at Allegheny. I think it's closed between Lee May Ferry and Gentry currently. If you're on northbound Highway 270, you got slow traffic approaching Gravois Midway to 44, pockets from there up to Manchester. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway getting onto eastbound 70, still slow, and it's slow again. Eastbound 70 to Blanchett into our city. Eastbound 64, Lindbergh to Big Bend's heavy. South 170 bogs down around Brentwood. Westbound 64, Hampton headed out to Hanley. There's heavy pockets. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 has delays west of 111 to the Poplar. Eastbound 64 onto 5570 slow, and 5570 delays approaching 111. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire says a nice day today with a high near 90, clear low 71 tonight, intervals of clouds and sun, high near 90 tomorrow. It's 69 right now.
She was buying slushies for her 5 children when she was shot and killed by a stray bullet in late June. Now 3 men are in custody, but could there be more?
Maybe we will all stand together, pray together, strive together, so that we can have better testimony.
A prayer circle around the family of Shaquilla Martin, including her oldest son, as they fight back tears. Ferguson Chief of Police Troy Doyle was light on details about what led up to the moment Martin was killed in the parking lot of a BP gas station on South Florissant and Woodstock. Could more arrests be coming?
There could be more arrests possible in connection with this.
Charged thus far are 21-year-old Marcus Evans, 19-year-old Jontez Young, and 21-year-old Kyle Farmer. Each face murder in the second and assault charges, amongst others. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Mayor Kara Spencer has announced an interim replacement for the retiring director of the St. Louis Airport. Rhonda Hamnabrugge steps down this month after more than 16 years as airport director. The airport's deputy director of planning and development, Gerald Beckman, will fill the role until a permanent replacement is found.
Tomorrow, MoDOT will start installing a traffic barrier on Route 367 between Country and Comet Drives. Tabitha Locke, North County area engineer, says since 2018, there have been 29 fatalities along this corridor.
The lane reduction will encourage drivers to travel to the speed limit, which is posted at 45 miles per hour in this stretch. Drivers coming out of Haviland Drive will only be able to make either a right in or a right out.
Locke says this demonstration will remain in place until construction along 367 starts next summer. The goal is to reduce accidents and excessive speeding. There's a public meeting about this at Christian Hospital on August 13th from 4 to 6.
New research suggests restaurants are losing out on billions of dollars in revenue when they ignore food allergies.
Nutritix helps restaurants with menu, recipe, nutrition, allergen, and compliance data and asked diners how their food allergies impact choices for dining out.
That about 95% of allergy-affected diners have decided to not go to a restaurant on the basis of lack of information being available.
With 33 million people in the United States living with one or more food allergies, CEO Stephen Nolan estimates that results in $12.6 billion in losses for restaurants every year. A majority of those people surveyed say they would have more trust in a restaurant if ingredients were clearly listed for every menu item. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
It is 7:56.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
Your health story is shaped by more than genetics. Everyday choices like nutrition, physical activity, sleep, tobacco use, and routine screenings all play a role in your future health. Siteman Cancer Center's Your Disease Risk helps you understand how family history and lifestyle work together, offering personalized insights to support healthier decisions. Knowing your risks today can help protect your tomorrow. Visit siteman.washu.edu/YDR.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading out the door on North 270, Graveway up through Manchester is busy. Eastbound 64, there's a couple of pockets. Lindbergh to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, slow. And westbound 64, west of 111, stop and go to the Poplar. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's 69 degrees with a sunny sky in downtown St. Louis with Debbie Monterey. I'm Tom Ackerman. Megan Lynch takes over after the 8 o'clock news. Coming up is hype overselling, where St. Louis actually lands on the geospatial map. Megan talks with an outside observer.
Hotels' in-room Wi-Fi could be stealing your identity. ABC's Jim Ryan will tell us about the latest warning.
The St. Louis region is home to an impressive group of top hospitals. We'll get this year's rankings from U.S. News & World Report.
Plus, our weekly chat with registered dietitian Michelle Wilson. Why do we need fiber in our diet, and how do we add it? That's all coming up.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
8 o'clock.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. 2 holdout Republican senators on the nomination of Todd Blanche to be Attorney General, not holding out anymore. Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis now on board after Blanche formally rescinded the so-called anti-weaponization fund. Here's ABC's Ali Picorin on Capitol Hill.
Because Cornyn and Tillis have now dropped their objections, we expect Blanche to be confirmed by the committee this morning and then sent to the whole of the Senate floor for further consideration. That could set Blanche up for a vote for final confirmation later this week or potentially over the weekend.
Police in Washington state have arrested a 37-year-old man accused of setting one of the wildfires that have burned hundreds of homes near Spokane. Trump administration officials saying a deal with Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz could be done as soon as today or possibly tomorrow. Half the states in the country are now suing over the president's latest round of tariffs, arguing they are just a stand-in for the tariffs that were already ruled illegal by the U.S. Supreme Court. This is ABC News. 2 deaths in Michigan have now been confirmed as complications caused by the cyclosporiasis outbreak. But some are wondering if there is something disagreement on when officials knew what they know now about the parasite.
The FDA has linked the outbreak in Michigan and 8 other states to iceberg lettuce sourced by Taylor Farms in central Mexico and served at some Taco Bell restaurants. But now, new questions about whether customers could have been informed sooner. Bloomberg reports Michigan health officials were in touch with Taco Bell's parent company, Yum Brands, weeks before customers found out.
ABC's Lionel Moise. Great story out of Alabama where Leah Farrow put out a notice to her neighbors that her 11-year-old son, who has autism, was celebrating his birthday and that his favorite thing to do was go trick-or-treating. At least 80 families volunteered to be home so he could ring their doorbells.
He was so happy. I mean, he was on a mission.
She describes it as her son's best birthday yet. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 74 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, August 4th. I'm Megan Lynch. Today is primary election day in Missouri. Polls open until 7 tonight. The Secretary of State's office predicting a 32% turnout. That would be the highest Missouri primary turnout since 2004. One of the hotly contested races here locally is in St. Charles County, where incumbent county executive Steve Ellman faces opposition in the Republican primary from Bill Eigel and Jason Law. At the August 18th St. Charles City Council meeting, the people will see a presentation about drone deliveries by Walmart. St. Charles City Mayor Dan Borgmeyer says in a Facebook post he received an advance presentation from Wings and was impressed with what the company has to offer. He says he did push back against criticism of the business model, saying they have no controlling power.
We have nothing to do with it. If Walmart wants to do it and they have FAA approval, I don't think we can block them from being in the skies.
We will take a deeper dive into the St. Charles drone situation later this hour at 8:31. A Metro East hospital's financial troubles continue to grow.
Gateway Regional Medical Center's board resigned months ago due to a lack of financial transparency, according to Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson, who sat on that board. He tells KMOX the medical center recently lost their level 1 trauma designation not long ago, which has cost the city and taxpayers.
We're already having to divert our ambulance service for most catastrophic events to other regional hospitals in St. Louis and other cities.
Parkinson likens the financial situation to the steel mill, saying they need to fight to keep it open, but they need to ensure it's being run correctly. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
For years, it was mocked, even nicknamed the Gateway to Nowhere. Now, Mid-America's St. Louis Airport in Mascoutah reaching new highs, with a 26% jump in boardings last year compared to the year before. St. Clair County once estimated the terminal could serve more than 1 million passengers a year. That hasn't happened, but by 2019, boardings hit almost 153,000. Last year, it was 192,000. In an effort to prepare drivers for a safety improvement project along Route 367 this Wednesday, MoDOT is installing a traffic barrier on Route 367 between Country and Comet Drives. Tabitha Locke, North County area engineer, says speed data from May shows excessive speeding with vehicles driving some 20 miles over the limit.
In order to help address these issues, MoDOT does have a planned permanent safety improvement project that's approximately $10 million, and it will be implemented, like I said, in summer of 2027. And that project stretches from 270 down to Halls Ferry Circle.
The improvements include narrowed lanes, curb extensions, race center median, roadway lighting, speed feedback signs, and a lane reduction from Jennings Station and Halls Ferry Circle. A public meeting at Christian Hospital is set for August 13th from 4 to 6. What's the next target for Missouri Senator Josh Hawley? How corporations use artificial intelligence to secretly hike prices on consumers. KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
He's been on a consumer protection streak lately.
Why do you do that? Can you change that? I mean, can you tell us today that you're going to do what your other peer airlines do, and you're going to quit charging families extra to sit next to their parents?
Now, the Senate Subcommittee on Crime and Counterterrorism, led by Senator Hawley, convenes this afternoon to investigate AI-driven surveillance pricing. They'll look at the practice of companies harvesting consumer data, ranging from web history to precise location tracking, to tailor individual dynamic price tags. Witnesses from the Wharton School, the Groundwork Collaborative, and retail worker unions are expected to testify on how algorithmic pricing strategies circumvent traditional market competition and drive up costs for everyday Americans. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
An update now on the cyclosporiasis outbreak linked in part to iceberg lettuce served at Taco Bell's.
2 deaths have now been reported in Michigan at the center of the outbreak due to cyclosporiasis.
Death is quite rare. We've seen thousands of cases reported across the United States, including hundreds of hospitalizations. And this is the first time we're hearing about reported deaths.
ABC News correspondent Yuri Benajad.
We do know that they had underlying health conditions, that they were sick in Michigan, and that dehydration may have been a cause here. And with cyclosporiasis, you can either get symptoms or not get symptoms. But when you do get sick, the most common cause or symptom is diarrhea. And that can be either for a couple of days to well over a month if it's untreated.
Health experts say even though the number of new cases is declining, we still need to be vigilant to make sure any recalled products are no longer in our kitchens and that restaurants are aware of the recalls of suspected iceberg lettuce. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
There's a Brickline Greenway art party tomorrow night at the Contemporary Art Museum.
This event is a way to get people excited for what is coming that include the donated art installations as well as the newly commissioned murals, sculptures, and surface treatments along the Greenway.
Great Rivers Greenway's Elizabeth Simmons says there are more than 20 St. Louis artists creating artwork along with international artists, including art installations on North Grand, Cass, and Spring Avenues. The art party runs from 5 to 7 tomorrow. Coming up on KMOX, is hype overselling where St. Louis actually lands on the geospatial map? We're going to look at the geospatial sector with Adam Simmons of Project Geospatial coming up. First, traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down data center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
Summer air should feel fresh, not full of dust, allergens, and whatever winter left behind in your vents. Your air ducts are the lungs of your home, and if they're dirty, you're breathing it in every day. That's where Zero Res comes in, backed by thousands of Google reviews and a 4.9 rating. This month only, take 20% off air duct services and products. That's cleaner air, better efficiency, and a fresher home guaranteed. Call 314-474-2020 or visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS.
Don's Garage Doors has been serving families since 1998, and now we're bringing that same great experience to the Lou. We take pride in having a neighbor-first approach to doing business with local technicians who are your neighbors. Don's Garage Doors is new to the area, but we're not new to working extra hard to earn customer trust, one garage door at a time. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors.
Don's Garage Doors, Don's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Every day starts the same way, and then it goes wherever it wants.
Life doesn't stop for Cardinals baseball. It just kind of runs alongside it. Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. We're talking real life, real stuff, and yes, a lot of Cardinals along the way, because that's how fans actually live it. It's just like happy hour, man. We get together every day from 1 to 5. We have fun, we laugh, we commiserate, we complain. DGS 1 to 5.
The Dave Glover Show at 1, and then Cardinals baseball. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, time to check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got trouble on 170 right now, Megan. We have a injury crash southbound 170 at the U Club Tower south of Brentwood. Only the right lane is open. Traffic's jammed back to about Ladue, and northbound Gawkers are backed up onto 64. Eastbound 64, by the way, just McKnight to that 170 exit's the only backup. Westbound 64 Hampton headed out to about Big Bend is still heavy. Northbound Highway 270, Big Bend up to Manchester. That's the heaviest part there. If you're on Telegraph, we still have restrictions at Englandtown for a crash, and Telegraph, I believe it's still closed at Allegheny. That's basically between Lee May Ferry and Gentry. That's for an overturned box truck from earlier this morning. Downtown, we've still got a jam. Westbound 64, bumper to bumper, 25th Street. Headed on to the Poplar Street Bridge. Looks like an incident there. And eastbound 5570 east to 203 through 111, a roadwork slowdown. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will top out near 90 degrees. We'll have a sunny sky, then it's clear with a low of 71 tonight. Tomorrow, some clouds back in the area, but we'll continue to have some sun as well. The high will be near 90. A spotty thunderstorm and more humid with clouds, some sun, and a high of 84 on Thursday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have a sunny morning, 74 in Florissant, 72 in St. Peters, and 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis continues to work to position itself as a top geospatial headquarters. One observer says efforts to secure our place on the map may be painting a rosier picture than really exists. Adam Simmons is founder of the nonprofit Project Geospatial, a webcast and blog focused on increasing awareness and education about geospatial technology. Simmons has been profiling geospatial hubs across the country, including St. Louis. I spoke with him about what's to like and what can be done better.
Over the last 6 years or so, St. Louis has pushed hard at trying to have a genuine momentum identifying itself as a national geospatial hub, right? Anchored by NGA West or the T-Rex, Taylor Geospatial. And, you have big companies that are known for geospatial, such as Esri, establishing a presence there as well. So, however, that distinct gap between polished regional marketing narrative and the operational realities faced by local startups, small businesses, and mid-sized tech firms on the ground. So the report that we have around the economic hub, once again, it's not supposed to be a criticism on St. Louis, but a realistic snapshot of what everybody sees, not just what the marketing portrays by Greater St. Louis Inc. or GeoSTL or Taylor, for example, which happen to be some of the loudest voices that you hear out there, right? So it's an objective diagnostic health check. That's what I like to call it, to ensure that the foundation beneath that ambition is what they say it is.
Let's talk about what we're getting right and what we may need to work on. So first off, start with what is St. Louis getting right in this geospatial infrastructure?
St. Louis did manage to secure NGA West to being in North Downtown, right? That's a big deal. That's a $1.7 billion building, government presence there that offers a lot of potential, especially around St. Louis, downtown St. Louis, around the building itself. Taylor Geospatial Institute, that's a good initiative in terms of what its mission is. And there's a lot to be said behind the scenes there, but establishing that mission, that cause, that drive is really critical. And I'll say organizations like T-Rex and Parallel T-Rex offering small businesses a place to live downtown, where otherwise it'd be really hard to get your footprint as a small business, and close to NGA's Moonshot Labs. So you initially have a place to initially interact with the government. And the other thing it gets right is I was always impressed, and I was loosely involved with it when I was out in St. Louis, is the Arch Grants program. Very impressive. I love the Arch Grants program. There's nothing the Arch Grants program I don't think does wrong. It does everything right. Of course, at that point is how do you maintain companies that get that they bring out there? What's the follow on? And it's not all about them. It's the relationships that Arch Grants that go beyond Arch Grants through the other hubs. So let's talk a little bit more about what it gets right. Grassroots founder resilience. So local researchers, small tech founders, and incubators are generally passionate. I love the St. Louis people in terms of how passionate they are about what they want to do, what they want to accomplish. And then the other thing I'll say is the GeoSTL restructuring that Mark Mansell is leading. So that used to be GeoFutures. It's been transforming over the last year. That's really exciting to me because I'm really looking forward to seeing what he decides to turn it into. And hopefully it's a shift towards hard metrics, business retention, and a commercial focus.
Let's look then at what do we need to work on? Are there some things we're getting wrong or some things that St. Louis could do better to be a more powerful geospatial hub?
Yes, I think there's two separate arms there. So why St. Louis kind of falls short, and then how St. Louis can do something better, right? So moving NGA West from South St. Louis to North St. Louis relocates an existing workforce within the city limits, but it's a defensive tax base preservation. So it's not new net job expansion. It's not like new federal money is going into it, new contracts. It's just a move of a facility. So there may be some new contracts with the expansion, but it's not, it doesn't mean NGA or the federal government is expanding its focus on transferring contracts and business out to St. Louis. Now, with that said, it does represent a potential what could go around that building and what can be working with that building. So, but that narrative needs to be very, very clear. NGA itself is not bringing new money to the table. Academic supply versus talent leak. So St. Louis trains top graduates. You know, there's a lot of good people coming out of the graduate programs there, but without mid-sized commercial tech companies winning large contracts, where's the contract base? Once again, it's not new federal money coming in. Graduates leave for other geospatial hubs. Denver, we'll call it the Colorado Front Range, Austin, Washington, D.C., Tampa, you know, where the geospatial hubs actually are that actually have a return on investment or proven growth, outmatched on tax and capital incentives, right? So Huntsville, Northern Virginia, Indiana offer aggressive state level tax credits and investor offsets. So St. Louis relies on municipal TIFs and city earnings tax friction. So there is specific things that the city is trying to do to incentivize. But is that enough to keep businesses in the area or bring it? I was talking to somebody last night at a social event for USGIF. They were expressing they have near 150 employees in the St. Louis area. And the reason why we don't really we're kind of hesitant to invest anymore without reason is we care about our safety of our employees. The city has to invest in what people care about in order for people to actually care about living there and being a part of the business, or the business is not going to even invest in that local area. And then we call fragmented theme parks, but institutions operate in silos. As much as I highlighted the T-Rex, Taylor Geospatial Institute, and the others, when you go to the ecosystem, when you're an outside company or somebody living in Northern Virginia, you go to the SLUs, georesolution, everything seems great from the outside. But when you get there, you realize the infighting of all these organizations. They don't get along. And you find out quickly that, wow, I'm trying to work within all of them, but they all don't want to talk to each other in order to make solutions work. And that's a problem. They're all fighting for the same philanthropic money, grants, and that's part of the economic problem. So how can St. Louis do better? So building internal B2B economies, ensuring local prime contractors actually buy from and partner with St. Louis startups. I would love to see bigger and medium-sized companies work directly and more consistently with companies that Arch Grants brings on. St. Louis, the T-Rex has a lot of companies that are in the geospatial ecosystem, and so does Cortex as well, but they all need to talk to each other in order to facilitate a connection to grow an actual ecosystem. The commercial crossover beyond defense. So expanding geospatial, what it means to be non-defense in Midwest strongholds, right? Ag tech, really strong in St. Louis. Supply chain logistics along the Mississippi, smart infrastructure, right? And climate risk. All those are big things that exist in St. Louis, but haven't necessarily tied to the geospatial economy at all. You do have a massive emergence of a drone economy out there, but I didn't see a lot of that tied to the mainstream discussions of some of the geospatial programs and events that are going on. And then once again, the biggest thing that they can do, instead of marketing this attraction to St. Louis, start tracking the retention, measure the 5-year startup or survival rates, commercial R&D licensing, right? Non-defense payroll growth rather than press release counts. Those are a big deal. So, and then once again, how do you align Missouri's tax policy to incentivize venture capital investment, specifically in high growth spatial software and AI companies? AI is starting to get a bit of a stigma behind it, but it's massive growth right now.
That is Adam Simmons, Executive Director of Project Geospatial. You can read more of his work at projectgeospatial.org. Let's see how things are moving on the roads for you this morning. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they made quick work of that crash, Megan. South 170 before 64. Traffic's just kind of slow. Brentwood is 64 right now. Eastbound 64 McKnight through the Interbelt's heavy. Westbound 64 Hampton Hanley still off the pace. Northbound 270 north of 44 through Manchester, the slowest part there. Telegraph at Englandtown still seeing backed up traffic from a crash. Telegraph between Lee Mayfair and Gentry is still, I think, shut down because of an earlier crash. Westbound 64 Baugh Avenue to the Poplar stop and go. Eastbound 5570 east to 203 through 111 is slow. Next update at 8:30 from the Everett Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Why pay full insurance when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It's going to be sunny and nice today, a high near 90. Clear skies tonight, an overnight low of 71. And then a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow, a high again near 90. Right now, sunshine, 71 downtown at the Arch. And coming up next, we're going to tell you about a traveler's trap. In-room Wi-Fi could be stealing your identity.
Steve Ellman leads St. Charles County. Ellman has fought for smart growth and moratoriums on apartments and data centers. Ellman doubled our parks, increased our conservation land, and helped create 50,000 new jobs. Ellman has built hundreds of miles of new roads. Ellman prioritized law enforcement and put officers in schools, making our county safest in the region. And Steve Ellman eliminated the county's real and now personal property taxes. While Steve Ellman leads, Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel promised to cut your property taxes for 8 years, but never did. Instead, he didn't pay his own taxes. Eigel was rebuked by President Trump's lawyer for misleading and scamming donors to pay for his campaigns. Eigel said he's against data centers, but he never voted to regulate data center abuses, but did vote to give tax dollars to benefit the company behind the St. Charles Data Center.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal too, right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid.
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Plug-in Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end September 8th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. If you use in-room Wi-Fi at hotels, we have a warning for you this morning. With me on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line, ABC News national correspondent Jim Ryan. Jim, good morning. What's this latest alert?
Hi, Megan. Yeah, just don't do it. In other words, that's kind of the advisory that Microsoft has been putting out. They've known about this since May, so it's been several months. But just now, Microsoft is putting out this advisory that if you're using a Wi-Fi hotspot, a network in a hotel or a motel or even a convention center or in an airport, you need to be aware that you could be subjecting yourself to hacking, something called Captive Crunch, which has been attributed to Russian state-sponsored hackers. They're responsible for this, for compromising Wi-Fi hotspots or Wi-Fi networks in hotels, motels, and then stealing the data of people who are logging on to them. So you just need to be very careful about that. Best way to avoid the whole thing, use your phone as a personal Wi-Fi hotspot. Use a VPN, something to protect your devices from people trying to break their way in.
Do we know at this point what information is being taken by these hackers?
Well, if it's on your computer, it's susceptible, or on your phone, or on your tablet, or whatever it is that you're using to log in. They could be getting into documents. They could be stealing passwords that you use to get into your bank account. They could be stealing photographs. They could be turning on the camera to your laptop. So you can see that there's this really serious potential breach of security and breach of privacy that you expect when you check into a hotel, Megan.
What are networks doing to try to shore up their defenses against this?
Well, in malware, making sure that there is detection in place that they can pick up if somebody is trying to break in. You, as a consumer, you need to make sure that you are keeping your antivirus software up to date, so that it might block some of these things from stealing your data. But beyond that, and I'm kind of surprised that Microsoft has known about this so long, but really hasn't made people aware of it.
That is a little bit unusual that this has been happening since May. What is their role in trying to patch this?
Well, I think since the thieves, if you will, the hackers are using Microsoft fudged pages. So they're going in, they're getting administrative access to Wi-Fi, to networks within hotels or convention centers. And they're getting in, and then they're creating a fake login page that looks like a Microsoft login page. So once you get into the hotel, you're asked your name, your room number, and then an extra page comes up, a pop-up that says, okay, now put in your Microsoft credentials and we'll get you onto the network. And so I think Microsoft feels some responsibility there, because these hackers they're spoofing a Microsoft login page to get access to your device.
All right, Jim, I'll have to tell my kids this the next time we're at a hotel. They're on their own.
Good idea.
All right. Thank you so much for the heads up.
Thanks, Megan.
That is ABC News national correspondent Jim Ryan joining us this morning here on KMOX. It's now 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It's 8:31. Let's see what's happening on the roads with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, EMS are responding to a rescue crash on southbound Lindbergh at Chutes. Traffic's jammed back to Page right now, and they're on the way. The jam is like I said, it's jammed, so it's going to get worse. They're just responding now. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry, Midway up to Manchester, still heavy. Eastbound 64, McKnight through the Innerbelt. There's still some slow traffic there. Still seeing delays on Telegraph at Englandtown. We had an injury crash there. Telegraph between Lee May Ferry and Gentry. You may still find restrictions. That's from a crash from earlier this morning involving an overturned box truck downtown. Westbound 64 is still bogged down Baugh Avenue all the way across the Poplar Street Bridge. Some of that stop and go. And eastbound 5570 a little slow approaching 111. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Coming up next, we're going to tell you about a proposal to have a drone delivery from Walmart in this area. First, though, a check of the forecast from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. Sunny and nice today. We're expecting a high near 90, clear with a low of 71 tonight. Right now, we have sunny skies, 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. A company called Wing wants to bring drone delivery for Walmart to the region. KMOX's Sean Malone spoke with St. Charles Mayor Dan Borgmeyer, who recently got a preview.
They have airspace at 126 feet. That's where they fly all the drones. And on the parking lot at the stores, there's like a chain link corral that they keep them in. I think the one that they showed me had about somewhere between 15 and 20 drones. And they launch vertically out of there at 126 feet. They traverse wherever they have to go. And then when they get to the destination, they drop down to 25 feet. And then below that, a cable goes down with a package connected to it and drops it off there. There's supposed to be somebody available when the drone gets there to accept the package. And, you can't have dogs and all that kind of stuff around it. But it's quite cutting edge. And the delivery time is, I don't want to be quoted, but I think the delivery time is like 45 minutes to an hour on orders that go to the store. So it's the wave of the future.
What's kind of the use case examples that this company gave you? I imagine when pitching this idea, they said, here's how it could be used by someone.
Basically, they're in control of the whole thing. They're in, I want to say, Sean, I think they're in 6 states already. And Catherine has launched it in each state. I think most recently in Atlanta and Georgia. But they're not selling it. It has nothing to do with me. This is a private enterprise thing. So it's not like the city of St. Charles is going to embrace this and make it happen. Walmart is going to decide what markets they bring it into. And I'm not sure. I mean, I assume they have the opportunity to do that by right because it's airspace. And they have actual pilots that work in the distribution centers that oversee the drones and guide them and land them just like an airplane, anything else.
So there's someone that's actually flying these drones. This isn't just AI flying the drones all around.
No. They actually have pilots in a console, and they direct the flights and manage the routes and all that kind of stuff. So,
how quickly could we see drones making deliveries?
I would say it's imminent, but not next week. I think probably yet this year, hopefully, if they can do it. There's a national effort to do this, and I said in my Facebook post, not only Walmart, but there's hundreds of applications.
What kind of packages will they be delivering from Walmart? I mean, is there a limit on no to prescription drugs or the size of the item?
I'm thinking back through notes that I've read, and I think there's a 20-pound limitation. But from what I understood, it can be phone, it can be product, it can be prescriptions, it can be just about anything.
Wing will be making a presentation at St. Charles City Hall August 18th during the City Council meeting. It's now 8:35. Your Money Report next.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER. Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
High gas and grocery prices are taking a bigger bite out of consumer budgets, and McDonald's is feeling it. McDonald's posting slowing sales for a second straight quarter. Customers are spending more per visit, but they're stopping by less often. McDonald's has stepped up its efforts to spotlight cheaper meals while capitalizing on pop culture moments to attract diners. The company has expanded its value menu with a $4 breakfast meal and more options under $3. And Wayfair says sales in the U.S. grew at their fastest clip in 4 years. The home furnishings retailer is drawing in more new shoppers with a growing number of brick and mortar stores. The company has been branching out from its online roots after profits plunge post-pandemic. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Tom Ackerman for McKelvey Homes, The Reserve at Wildwood, a premier development located on 50 acres at the southwest corner of 109 and 100. Check it out, the heart of Wildwood. This community offering a stunning collection of homes from McKelvey Homes, high-quality craftsmanship and style that McKelvey is known for. The Reserve at Wildwood, more than just a place to live. Outdoor lovers will love it as well. Planned with families and outdoor lovers in mind. A private playground, picturesque rain gardens, miles of walking trails that wind through scenic green spaces. You're going to love the Reserve at Wildwood, and they're also very close to the Wildwood Town Center, Rockwood's Reservation, Babbler State Park, Rockwood School District. McKelvey Homes is known for this, the best home sites. You'll experience the perfect blend of luxury living and natural beauty. McKelvey Homes. Move up to McKelvey.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Thomas Pat Ellinger, Treasurer.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. 25 states have sued the Trump administration over its latest tariffs, calling them a pretext for replacing import taxes the Supreme Court struck down in February. 2 people have died in the Cyclospora outbreak in Michigan, the first death confirmed in the U.S. related to the microscopic parasite. And your kid may be too loaded down when they go back to school. The American Academy of Pediatrics says signs a backpack may be too heavy include a child leaning forward to support its weight or straps digging into their shoulders. 8:41, let's get you around the problems on the roads this morning. Roger Brand is going to help. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're working to clear a rescue crash on southbound Lindbergh right now, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. It was southbound Lindbergh near Schutz. Traffic still backed up at Page. Doesn't look as bad as it did 10 minutes ago, but there just is still a jam there. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry midway up to Manchester and approaching Clayton Road a little heavy. Telegraph northbound from Christopher up to England Town still backed up from an earlier rescue crash. Northbound Tesson Ferry, Butler Hill up through Schutz looks heavy. Still looks like there's restrictions on Telegraph between Lee May Ferry and Gentry over in Lee May from an earlier crash downtown. Westbound 64 still slow, Ball to the Poplar. Eastbound 5570, a couple of busy spots between 203 and 111. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Expect sunshine today. It'll be a nice day, but it will be warm, a high near 90. Clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 71, and a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow, a high again near 90. Right now, we've got a warm up, sunny skies, 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. This morning, U.S. News and World Report releases its annual list of best hospitals. So let's find out where the hospitals in the St. Louis region ranked. Chelsea Wen, Senior Health Data Analyst with U.S. News and World Report, joins us now on KMOX. Good morning.
Good morning, Megan.
So this is the 37th year for this study. What are some of the things that you measure when you're determining what makes a great hospital?
Yeah, so this year the methodology is even more focused on capturing objective, verifiable patient outcomes. So these are the things that patients care most about, like survival, readmission to the hospital, the length of time that they spend in the hospital, whether or not they're able to be discharged straight from the hospital to their home or maybe a nursing home or a rehab facility. So that makes up the bulk of how we evaluate hospitals. We also include other factors like the patient experience, the number of patients that the hospital serves, and also nurse communication.
Where do you get your data from?
So the bulk of our data is going to be Medicare claims data. So this tracks all patient encounters for Medicare beneficiaries across a certain number of years.
I noticed, too, there are a number of specialty rankings, and I found this to be really interesting. Tell our listeners a little bit more about what's there and what you've added and what it tells people about these hospitals.
Yeah, so because most patients are going to seek care in the areas that they live in, it's more useful to have ratings and rankings of their local hospitals. So traditionally, our specialty rankings have been focused on a national lens, looking at who's number one in the nation. But for the average American who is seeking care, they're going to stay in their neighborhood. So this year we have introduced 4 regional specialty rankings, and that is in cancer, cardiology, heart and vascular surgery, orthopedics, and rehabilitation.
So let's dig into some of the numbers. When we look at the facilities that we have here in the St. Louis area, which hospitals are leading the pack?
Yeah, so St. Louis has a really impressive stack of 8 best regional hospitals this year. And a best regional hospital is defined as a hospital that has at least 8 high-performing ratings across the areas of care that we evaluate. So some notable examples, we have Barnes Jewish Hospital, which is nationally ranked in diabetes and endocrinology as number 11 in the nation. They're also number 16 in the nation for rheumatology. And then Barnes Jewish Hospital and Christian Hospital are both listed as best regional hospitals for community access, which is a separate designation that we give to hospitals that are providing excellent care and also providing a lot of that care to underserved communities.
Any other standouts when you look at this list that we have in the St. Louis region?
Yeah, there are 8 best regional hospitals, and Missouri Baptist Medical Center is also a really great performer this year. They're high performing in 20 of the 23 procedures and conditions cohorts that we evaluate. So that's almost all of them. So for example, they're high performing in heart arrhythmia, hip replacement, knee replacement. So that means that they're doing really well on those outcomes that I mentioned before, like the readmission rates, prevention of revision surgeries, really important outcomes for patients.
What would you say about, the ability of this study to give some pretty sophisticated information to people as they're making their healthcare choices?
We are pulling across millions and millions of data points. So there is a lot of strength in the data. We also employ a lot of risk adjustment when we are evaluating these hospitals. So essentially, when we're looking at a hospital's survival rate or their readmission rate, we also take into account how sick the patient was before they even showed up to the hospital. So patients can be confident when they're looking at these ratings and rankings that they'll be taken care of no matter what their health history is.
Where can our listeners go to really research this for themselves?
Our website, health.usnews.com, has a search function. So patients can go on there and search by their city or their zip code, and they can select or search the procedure or condition that they're interested in as well. So they'll see a list of hospitals that match those criteria. We also have a tool where you can compare up to 5 hospitals at once. So you can see how the hospitals did on our ratings and rankings, as well as how they did specifically on each measure. So you can see their readmission rate for gynecological cancer surgery. You can see all of that information, and it's a great starting off point.
Chelsea, thank you so much.
Yep, thank you for having me.
That is Chelsea Wen, Senior Health Data Analyst at U.S. News and World Report, and just running down the overall rankings for regional hospitals in the St. Louis area. The rankings come in this order: Barnes-Jewish Hospital, number 1, Missouri Baptist Medical Center, Mercy Hospital, St. Louis, St. Luke's Hospital in Chesterfield, Mercy Hospital South, Christian Hospital, and Mercy Hospital Jefferson in Festus.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, he spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel from Missouri. Lisa Borchers, Treasurer.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down Data Center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
St. Louis, are you ready to rock? AC/DC is bringing the Power Up Tour to the Dome at America Center Tuesday, September 8th. Hear legendary hits like Back in Black, Thunderstruck, and Highway to Hell, performed live by one of the greatest rock bands of all time. Don't wait on tickets. They're still available at Ticketmaster.com. AC/DC, the Power Up Tour, Tuesday, September 8th. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX, and I want to tap into a regular guest here on KMOX, Michelle Wilson. She's a registered dietitian with Brands Nutrition. She brings us a lot of great advice every week about how we can really eat in a healthy way. Michelle, I have been hearing so many people talk about fiber and how it's beneficial for them, how they incorporate it into their diets. And so I thought it might be worthwhile just to do kind of a fiber 101 with you. You know, what fiber is, how do we get it, things like that.
Oh, I know so many things about fiber. So our main sources of fiber are going to be fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, beans, things like that. So it's going to be things that can add a little bit more of like what I've heard called roughage, like having some of those, the produce and the things that help add bulk to our stool, help things move through a little better. And there are two different kinds of fiber. We have our soluble fiber, which is absorbed more into the gut, and our insoluble fiber, which is going to be what helps pass things through.
Now, can fiber have a beneficial impact for blood sugar levels?
Yes. So whenever we have fiber, then that can help maintain like our blood sugar to where we're not having spikes and dips. It slows down the digestion a little bit. So if things absorb too quickly, then we might have that like spike up and then drop down later, like have that blood sugar crash. So if you have something like apple juice, for instance, which can have a lot of great vitamins in it and have some of those good nutrients and quick energy, if you're having the juice, then it's going to cause a spike and then a dip. But if you have something like fiber with it, like if you're eating an apple, then that spike is not going to come up as high and that dip isn't going to come down as low, because you're going to have that fiber that stretches out that absorption a little bit and then helps that energy last a little longer.
Do you feel like most people could get enough daily fiber naturally from fruits and vegetables?
Absolutely. There is the potential for it, but it is something that a lot of people struggle with. Incorporation of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains might not naturally easily be incorporated in your day-to-day right now, but it can be something that if you know where you can get those nutrients, you can sprinkle them in throughout the day. I think that some people just don't really know all of the sources of it and ways that they can incorporate it that they actually enjoy. So you don't always have to have fruit or vegetable with your breakfast, but you might have nuts or seeds that you're adding on top of like a parfait, for instance.
If you are not a person who has routinely had fiber in your diet, do you need to be careful when you start to add more in?
Absolutely. So we need to have a little bit of time for your gut to adjust. If you're increasing your fiber intake, I would suggest doing it a little bit more slowly, but definitely having enough water, enough hydration to help move things through. Otherwise, it can kind of get stopped up and can be a little uncomfortable.
So when it comes to like fiber supplements, what are some of the best that you might advise someone to take if they feel like they just cannot get enough in, their regular meals?
So I would say that there are a couple of main brands out there that can be really helpful. Metamucil is going to be one that has soluble and insoluble fiber. So it has both of those. So it has the psyllium husk, which is added into it, that helps have a little bit of more of that bulking agent. A challenge that some of my clients might have with that is that mixing it in and drinking it does change that texture a lot. It can be like really gummy and earthy tasting. So that can be a little bit difficult. I've had some people like mix it in with orange juice very quickly and drink it very quickly, and it's kind of like able to be done in a way that's a bit more doable. But something like Benefiber can be one that has just the soluble fiber. It mixes in a lot easier with beverages without it being as noticeable. So it might not have that balance of both, but that supplement can be a good option if you don't find Metamucil to be tolerable. And then even a third option could be gummies. There are fiber gummies, but they might have like a little bit less of the fiber, or you have those added sugars that could be part of it too. So I would say the gold standard would probably be one that has a mix of soluble and insoluble fiber if you need a supplement.
Is it one of those things that also helps us with feeling full?
Absolutely. So fiber helps with satiety, feelings of fullness, but we also have, whenever you're getting it from food sources, you have the volume of the food that typically is higher in fiber. So your fruits and vegetables help take up more room. And part of our feelings of fullness is a couple of different stages. One is you have the stretch receptors in your stomach that signify that your stomach is physically full with volume. And then we have the absorption piece where our body starts absorbing things in our small intestine to signify whether or not we got all of the macro and micronutrients that we needed. So if we're not absorbing enough of our fat, for instance, then we're going to be like, I still want something else, even though I physically felt full. I feel like I want something more. But fiber helps us, like we were talking about with the blood sugar spikes and dips. It's going to help us not have that crash. And so we have that fullness feeling for longer. So if you have a fruit or a vegetable with breakfast, then you're going to feel more full and satisfied a bit longer, to where you can last until a snack or last until lunch without having that big blood sugar crash and feeling like I'm starving like an hour later.
So next question. If you are a person who loves smoothies, does it still give you everything you need? I mean, all of that fruit or vegetable is still in there. It's just pureed.
Yes, absolutely. So that's still going to have all of those nutrients in it. It's kind of similar to whenever we chew up our food and swallow it, like it's going to have more of that like blenderized texture by the time we do swallow it. So some people think that, oh, well, it's all blended up, so like the fiber is not in there anymore, but it definitely can still be in there whenever it's blended.
Any other tips you can give us on fiber?
I would say really explore the things that you enjoy. I have a lot of clients that don't like fruits or vegetables, and they're like, I know I don't get enough fiber because I don't eat any fruits or vegetables. But having more things like nuts or even popcorn can be a great thing to incorporate to get some more fiber in. There's something out there for everybody.
Yeah, I can do the popcorn for sure. All right. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
A new blood test could be a game changer for detecting pancreatic cancer. Standard tests catch just 10% of early stage cases, but researchers at Japan's Kanazawa University found that analyzing gene expression in the blood successfully flagged 90% of stage 0 and stage 1 cancers, with